The following podcast contains naughty language and ridiculous situations. Listener discretion is advised.
Silent Night, Deadly Night, Night of the Demons, Return of the Living Dead, Graduation Day. All these films have in common, they all star Linnea Quigley, America's favorite horror scream queen. And I love her, we all love her. There's many out there, but there's only one Linnea Quigley. Well, it was just announced earlier today that finally, at long last, we are finally getting Linnea Quigley's horror workout. And if you've never seen Linnea Quigley's horror workout that came out around 1988 or 1989, it is a true trip. She works out with zombies. She works out with monsters. It's a legit workout tape, and it's funny. It's corny as hell. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because thanks to TerrorVision, we are finally getting our Blu-ray release of this wonderful piece of cult workout cinema, I guess you could say. So the release date on this is going to be May 1st. There's only going to be 3,000 made that have a special edition slipcover with these things, and over half are already gone. So go to TerrorVision. That's terror-vision.com. They're going on sale for $25, and they'll be shipping them out May 1st. So get your order in now. I plan on doing mine. And also, if you want a little taste of what this is like, you can watch it for free on Tubi. But there's a shit ton of extras that's going to be on this disc. And if you're a fan of physical media like I am, you'll want to get this DVD, because I know I'm going to be doing that. And Linnea is going to be doing that. And she's going to be at Monster Expo, so hopefully she'll have copies there. I don't know. I asked her. I haven't gotten an answer yet. That's it. Welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Welcome to episode 559 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is the world's most dangerous podcast and is recorded in front of an undead studio audience here at Castle Wolfenstein, also at the Lair of La Swag within the Raven Chateau and Casa de Zero. It is the three of us, the unholy trio, the terrible triumvirate. What else you got, Raven Shadow?
Triple threat of Titans.
Did I take all the good ones?
Yeah, the tenacious triple threat of the Tannenbaums.
Tannenbaums? Jesus. Did you not take your cool pills today? What's going on?
Mary, where are my pills?
Honey, you didn't pull my pills out.
Pills.
Jesus.
Some other pills today, but yeah, yeah. The Titanic trio of Taz McGarrigle, Gorse, Shriek.
Oh my
Smith.
God.
What's that?
How about the Unholy Three?
Did somebody shoot you with a dummy dart?
How about the Unholy Three from the film from 1930?
Obviously, everyone's seen that.
Yes. Lon Chaney, Harry Earls.
Oh, speaking of films, well, actually, before we get into all the bullshit and chit chat, let me go ahead and tell folks what we're doing tonight. So we're going to be talking about a film called Holy Shit. Holy Shit. Is that how you say it? There's an exclamation point at the end.
Holy shizer, when you've stuck too long in the porta potty, oh, what's that coming over me? Smell it.
You thought about that.
Out the cup, baby, out the cup.
Yeah, you had
Jesus.
that on deck for a long time.
Oh, speaking of on deck, we're talking about a movie that takes place about 98% in a porta potty.
There's a lot of like scat exploitation going on last couple of years, right?
Exploitation.
We had the one we had the what's the porta potty chaos movie we watched a few months back or last year. The glory hole, I guess it would be called. There was glory hole. It was called hole.
No. It wasn't. It was just called. Fuck. Why am I drawing a blank now?
Outhouse.
Outhouse, lighthouse.
House lighthouse. Publishers clearinghouse. What was that one? The
Roadhouse.
Boathouse. No, it wasn't Glory Hole. You sure it wasn't called Glory Hole?
I think it was just called Glory.
Hallelujah.
I'm looking it up. All right. Jesus Christ.
All right.
Glorious.
Oh, yeah, glorious. Yeah, there was glorious. So that's a lot of poop going on, a lot of bathroom stuff. Bad Milo had a lot of butt stuff. Not the same thing.
That was like 7 years ago.
It was funny, but I was thinking about it because OTC did it this past week.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. I did see that they did that. Yeah.
I was like, oh, you're coming to the fucking outhouse a little bit late on that one.
Yeah,
but,
Bad Milo is your go-to film, dude.
Yeah, that was like your number one that year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It was up there.
I can remember it. It was.
Oh, Creepy Girls is checking it out, and she actually guessed it before we did. She said glorious, so she knew. And she also says MZ's Pussy Palace because of all the cats. And I mean, if the shoe fits.
Words that have never been uttered ever. That's good.
That's Zero's Pussy Palace.
Oh yeah, Butt Boy was another one that Creepy Girl brought up.
Yeah, Butt Boy. Yeah.
Scatsploitation. Is this like the great scatsploitation? Is that what's going on here, Raven Channel? Is that what you're saying?
I feel like we're seeing a very scat what do you call it? What was the when the turtles, those guys who inspired the turtles?
The turtle head.
Renaissance.
Wasn't there a movie? We did a movie which the Japanese word is shit, and Karando told us this.
Oh, Kuso.
Kuzo, that's it. Yeah.
It wasn't a Japanese movie though, but
yeah.
Yeah, Kuso is shit.
Oh yeah, he did, yeah.
So yeah, there you go. There's that as well. There's Kuso. What else we got? Butt Boy.
Butt Boy.
And also Greasy Strangler.
That's
How
like
can you
your
forget
number.
that?
That's like your number one.
Dude, I got two copies of that movie on Blu-ray, plus the soundtrack.
Dude.
I have 2 copies, one for each of you. Thank you.
One for each. I don't know.
Cheek.
Yeah.
I bought my own copy, and then Tim from Australia
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
brought over a copy, and I bought it off him.
Because it's the Australian edition, right, or something. Yeah, that's right. It had extra stuff on it including something with him in it, right? There was like a feature.
Yeah, but the only thing is that the first disc works, but the second disc, it's region.
Oh,
So-
gotcha.
I don't have a free region-free player, so I'm kind of out on that. But one of these days, I'll get a region-free player, and
You
I'll
should give
figure-
Region Philbus a call.
He's dead.
That was terrible. Oh, we'll call him from beyond the grave. Use the black phone. Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
That was more Elma.
Okay, cool. So that's what we're doing. We're going to be talking about the film Holy Shit. And we may have a little surprise later. I didn't even tell these guys about it. We may have a little surprise later. So hang on. Tune in. These guys don't know what I'm even talking about. So
Oh,
it'll be a surprise for them too. What was I gonna? I forgot what I was gonna mention now. Oh, I remember. Let me just look it up real quick because I forget the name of the movie. But I just saw something came across my email today about a new movie that's going to be coming out in August in theaters, and it's directed by Andre Overdal, who did the films Troll Hunter, The Autopsy of Jane Doe, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and his upcoming film is called Last Voyage of the Demeter. Have you guys heard about this yet?
yes. Yeah, I was reading an article about it early today, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because they sent out a press release, and I got it in my email. You probably saw a write up of from that press release, but it's so the synopsis. It's a little long. I'll just read it though. Based on a single chapter, the captain's log from Bram Stoker's classic 1897 novel Dracula, the story is set aboard the Russian schooner Demeter, which was chartered to carry private cargo, 24 unmarked wooden crates from Carpathia to London. The film will detail the strange events that befell the doomed crew as they attempt to survive the ocean voyage, stalked each night by a terrifying presence on board the ship. When it finally arrived near Whitby Harbor, it was a derelict. There was no trace of the crew. So I think it's kind of cool they're doing a film about basically one chapter of Dracula.
That is cool, and I mean, if it does well, maybe we could get subsequent chapters.
Yeah,
you know?
we'll get every chapter. I
Yeah,
gotta know what happens.
you know what?
I gotta know.
You know what? It's not a bad idea. You know, if it succeeds, I mean,
It seems like it's better suited
It's-
for a TV streaming series, but
yeah, but
Yeah,
I mean, this is a really good idea.
yeah, I agree.
This is a fantastic idea.
Based on a chapter of a book you haven't read.
We're gonna take one chapter of Great Expectations.
Yeah. Maybe have low ones. That's fun.
Yeah, Low Expectations. That's Raven Shadow's sex tape.
That's
Sorry, that's a line from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They say it all the time. Instead of that's what she said. They use the that's the name of your sex tape thing.
What's the name of your sex tape?
Well, it has to be a joke. You just say
Well,
it in the moment.
I think the very idea of you being in a sex tape would be a joke.
wowzers.
Zing.
You're right, because I don't want your fucking beady eyes on it.
Yeah, but Wolfie's like a fucking Viking warrior. I want to see that.
But
I'm gonna check for cameras in the spare bedroom this weekend, Raven Shadow.
You won't find that. No, we can blur it out. We can blur the deal out, but I just want to see you in action. I'm fascinated.
Oh my god, in action.
Not a weird way, just as like, I really admire, Pepper Bond's throw. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a little different.
yeah, see,
Really?
so Raven Shadow has his. We have Wolfie that's going to be possibly having his.
No, not having mine. MZ's like I've scrapped more sex tapes than I care to admit.
yeah.
Well, I'm sure you can make one in North Carolina, MZ.
Yo, wowzer.
Well, I got a title for mine already.
Oh, what is it? Was it Rocky Overhang Rides Again?
No. It's Dragon Balls MZ.
Wait.
Dragon Balls MZ. Wait, is that like Brad Dragon? Was that his name or something?
No, this is something completely different, and it's done in a total Japanime style.
Speaking of saving it to be on deck, not for nothing. All right, let's pack that. Dragon Balls MZ.
Yeah.
It's not terrible.
No, it's not terrible.
I mean, I don't want to watch it, but it's not terrible.
Well, it's gonna be Japanimation.
Well, it's
It's
not.
gonna be
It's not really a sex tape at that point, is it?
It'd be like
It's an
hentai.
anime. Yeah, it's a hentai.
And would you have giant like tentacles coming out of your testicles? Or with like your balls? I don't know. Now I'm fascinated. Now I want to draw some pictures. Like, would you be naked and your balls are destroying Neo Tokyo? And then
Yes.
like I think like you'd be confused. Somehow I picture you coming out of the water with a towel on.
Oh, I don't want to
know.
hear anything about him coming in anything when it comes to his sex tape.
Elongating out of no, wait, it's bad. Encroaching out of the water. Some reason you have a towel on like Val Venus, and then some.
Hello, ladies.
Hello, Neo Tokyo, and then somehow maybe the military comes in and they shoot off your towel, and then like your balls are just destroying neon signs out of Blade Runner.
Like Godzilla sound.
Yeah.
Hello, Neo Tokyo.
I feel his balls are like those, like that. What's that thing back in the 80s? When you'd like, and you have the balls going back.
Oh,
Oh yeah. I can't remember what it's called, but I know what you mean.
Freud's. Oh, something's cradle.
Yeah.
Freud's cradle, something like that.
Yeah. So I'm picturing a lot of your balls just like bouncing off buildings, running amok. And that's Act 1. I mean, that's all I got.
Yes, this is Chapter 1. Wait till you see the other chapters.
Yeah, this is Chapter 1. This is not good.
Newton's cradle.
Newton's cradle. That's what it is.
That's what MZ's underwear is called.
Yeah. Newton's cradle and the silver ball. Little boy blue.
Newton's cradle. There you go. Neo Tokyo. We hardly knew you.
Holy shiza. Yeah.
Is that like sung to like Holy Diver?
Well, yeah, dirt. I mean,
Holy shiza.
shiza. When your phone falls down in the midnight poop.
Oh, holy shizer. I'm going to keep saying that tonight.
Holy shit.
Holy shiza. Thank you.
All right, but yeah, last Voyage of the Demeter. Look, it sounds pretty cool. It's a cool idea, and I really dig that Andre Overdahl is doing it. I think he's a good director to do that, especially with his work on Troll Hunter and especially Autopsy of Jane Doe. I thought was real good, and it has David. I don't even know how to say this dude's name, but he played he was in Suicide Squad as Polka Dot Man. David Dastmalchian.
That boy good.
Astamalthian?
It also has Liam Cunningham and Javier Botet. He is may not know him by name, but he is that weird looking actor that plays monsters all the time. Like he can like, I think he what is it called when double jointed, I think, when he can just kind of like move his body and contort it in weird ways. So he plays a lot of monsters because of that. Like he was the Crooked Man in The Conjuring 2. He was what are the other ones that come to mind? He was in It. It says he played the hobo. I'm trying to remember what that character did. I don't know. Anyways, he plays typically monster characters that can move in very odd ways. So, but yeah, that sounds it sounds pretty cool. So, looking forward to that. That's not till August though, so got a little bit. I think it's a theatrical release at first, but maybe it's something we'll check out on the show. What about you guys? Anything else going on? Anything fun, exciting you saw this week?
No.
No. No.
Not really.
Man, I should write down stuff. I guess I'll just mention this real quick. But if people want to hear me talk about it in greater detail, they can obviously check out the Star Wars podcast, Force Insensitive. But the second to last, the penultimate episode of season 3 just dropped on Wednesday, and holy shit, it was fucking jam packed with stuff. So if you guys are watching The Mandalorian, you haven't seen it yet, you should check it out ASAP before shit gets spoiled if it hasn't already. But
It has.
It gets spoiled for you?
Yeah, and just not investigating. I mean, I don't know the context, but I think I know about a surprise, about a guest star. Maybe I'm wrong, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
It's my fault.
That's why I make sure I watch it first thing before I do anything on Wednesdays. But I know not everyone can do that, so. But yeah, that's great. And then it'll be season finale is on Wednesday, so looking forward to that. One sort of show note is we just talked about it earlier, right before we went live, but we will be doing in 2 weeks. We will be doing a show on a Wednesday. I know it's been a while since we've done that. Actually, I think we did it maybe last year, but we used to be on Wednesdays all the time. But MZ has a thing on Thursday the 27th, so we're going to be moving the show up one day. So we'll be doing it Wednesday, April 26th instead. So if you guys want to, who knows, maybe some people can check out the live show on Wednesdays, but not Thursdays. So if that's the case, then there you go. You can check it out on Wednesday. But we'll be doing it on the last week of April. It'll be on a Wednesday. So Wednesday the 26th if you're watching live, or if you want to send in a voice message or something that week. So just wanted to make sure people were aware of that. All right, so now we got that out of the way. So I guess I'll mention this because it we'll probably talk about it next week. But I'll be taking the trip up to Massachusetts for the first time in 3+ years. Yeah, so I'm heading up. It's going to be kind of a quick trip, arriving on Friday, leaving on a Monday. But Raven Shadow was kind enough to extend an offer to stay with him. So I'll be staying with Raven Shadow for the weekend and be doing some other stuff. Haven't seen my dad in almost 4 years, so I'll be so be seeing him and seeing some other friends and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so we may who knows, maybe there'll be some pictures showing up on the interwebs. We are going to record a Patreon show.
Yep.
From the studio, so it'll be Raven Shadow and I in the studio. MZ will be, in his home, but yeah, so we'll have that going on, and should be fun. But looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. No, I was prepping the Trick or Sweet earlier today.
The Trick or Sweet. Well, I appreciate that, Raven Shadow. You don't have to go. Don't go crazy.
Well, I did. I vacuumed. I dusted. I got the.
Wow.
Oh well, that stuff I appreciate. Okay.
You did all that?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Look at you, little Miss Homebody over here.
I am
What?
Miss Home-
Well,
It's fucked up. Yeah. So
why
you get him.
Why can't men? Why can't it be Mister? Little Mister
be
Homebody?
Mister.
Yeah. Why
No,
do you
it
gotta
can
say
be
Little
Mister.
Miss? Jeez.
Well, it's habit. Some
Habit.
habits are hard to break. Cut me
it's
some slack.
habit to like emasculate men by calling them women.
Well, yeah.
There's a nice
All right,
fold. Shit. Speaking of bad habits, we're fucking roboting.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take care of the roboting. I'll take care of you, robot. So, Raven Chow, I'm gonna disconnect you, and then we'll get you right back.
All right. I'm going break.
Stay right there. He's leaving.
I know it's gonna take like 2 or 3 minutes. So, There we go. All
All
right.
set? Good?
Well, he's gone,
Okay, well,
so it's
then
just
I'll
you
just
and
tell
me.
you. All right, good. Just the way we planned it.
Yep.
Look, just when you go over to Raven Shadows,
Mhm.
make sure you leave like you pee in his shower. Okay, make sure you pee in his shower.
No,
'Cause
no.
that's like signing in the registry book at his place.
Oh, I'm not going to do that.
Do
It's-
it.
You know what's funny is Evil Corny literally just said that in the chat room before you did. He said, "Pee in that shower." No, I'm not going to do
Well,
it.
he's right. He's right. Everybody should pee in his shower.
There's literally a toilet like 2 feet from his shower.
Yeah. So,
Why would you go in the shower?
like I said, it's symbolic to
It's
of
symbolic. Shut up.
like signing into the registry book at a hotel.
No.
You pee in his shower. That
Yeah, and then
Wolfie-
it's going to wash right down the drain, and then there's no record of it. So,
but there will be a record of it because you'll be recording it.
what?
Yeah.
This just keeps getting worse. Why am I
Sounds
recording
good
it?
to me. I don't know. It sounds pretty good to me.
You're a weirdo. Raven Shadow
you.
wants to see a sex tape of me, and you want to watch me fucking pee in a shower. You guys are fucked.
Well, you're a bad influence on us.
Oh yeah, I'm such a bad influence on you guys. Yeah. If anything, I'm a good influence. Therefore, you guys need to like go on the opposite end and
Yeah.
even it out. All right. Well, I'm getting his Skype back on over there, so we'll get him back in just a moment. What are the chances he's actually there?
Slim to none.
And Slim just left town, and that's him.
Yep.
He's Slim.
Gets any slimmer, he'll be transparent.
What else? Anything going on, MZ? You watch any? You get any? Oh, what was I gonna mention? I thought I saw some new releases, but I can't remember. Did you see any new physical releases besides the one you mentioned in the intro? I thought I saw something. Oh, I know not a physical release, but I know Evil Dead Rise is coming out soon.
Yeah.
You excited about that?
And well, I'm excited about anything that's related to Evil Dead, and of course, there is such a thing as going to the well once too often while trying to make it serious, and you got to wonder, is this going to hold up like the other films? Yep. But I think the early word is that this is going to be really, really, really good.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Everyone has been saying that. Of course, Bruce is going to say that. Of course, Sam is going to say that because they're promoting the film. That they got money invested in this thing, so of course they're going to say that it's good. Whether it is or not. And which is not to say that I have yet to that I've seen a bad Evil Dead product. I haven't. That Evil Dead might be the one franchise that continuously gives what it promises. It's really kind of amazing, really, when you think about it. Of all the horror franchises that are out there, Evil Dead seems to be the only one that has not, in a general sense, where more than half of the fans hate that movie. I mean, if I was to pick which one was the least favorite of the bunch, it would probably be Army of Darkness.
Oh.
Well, because Army of Darkness, think about it. Army of Darkness was basically a cult film before it even had a chance to become a cult film. It was too B movie to be Hollywood, and it's too Hollywood to be a B movie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of heat around it. I'm sure people have read. I mean, I've heard a couple of interviews. I'm sure everyone has. Like, this is not new information, but like, I think Army of Darkness got unjustifiably given R rating because of the perception of Raimi and those guys. You know what I mean? Like it was hearing Bruce Campbell talk on Inside of You with Rosenbaum, because they're friends. They go bike riding and smoke pot together. They talk about it, but like, why wasn't it called? What was the original title for it?
Army of Darkness.
The
Well, Evil Dead 2 was supposed to be originally titled Army of Darkness.
Nah, there's no title, but like, there's no reason that movie should have had an R rating. It really shouldn't have.
Well, the reason why it was is because of the MPAA.
And they were
the guy
unrated.
who ran the MPAA at the time, Jack Valenti, who was a staunch anti-violence guy.
By the way,
there was
Raven Shadow, Medieval Dead.
Medieval Dead, thank you.
Yeah.
Medieval Dead.
Yes, Medieval
Thank
Dead. And Valenti was just so unapologetic, which is why so many films from the late 80s to the early to mid 90s was such a train wreck for horror, and the gore that was allowed to be shown in it. That's why, like Friday the 13th Part 7 was down to a trickle. Meanwhile, if you saw some of the rushes on that film, you'd see that the film was flowing with blood. But Valenti had all that cut out.
What year was Army of Darkness? Was that
93, I
92?
think. 2 or 3.
It was made in 92, but it was released in 93 because Universal Pictures was having an issue with the sequel to the Silence of the Lambs movie.
Right. Now imagine, like, if we only get a limited Google search of what other pictures came out that year that were way harsher than Army of Darkness. But some reason that got straddled with a R rating, and truly, there was no nudity, there was no swears, there was no ridiculous gore.
Well, the only blood scene was from the pit, where you got that geyser of blood.
Yeah.
And they do drop one F-bomb in. Ash does drop one F-bomb in Army of Darkness. But also the main reason why it got straddled with an R was because Sam Raimi and Rob Tapert with Evil Dead 2 went around the MPAA and just had it released. So when the time came for Army of Darkness to get its rating, the MPAA just ripped it to shreds and say, "Oh yeah, you want to do that to us? We're going to do this to you. And if you want your movie released, you're going to do what we tell you." So that's basically it in a nutshell.
And that's what I was trying to communicate. But you're right. They were getting punished for that. But what, a PG-13, you can get one F-bomb, because I feel there was the one Die Hard that was PG-13, and Kevin Smith was like, "Well, what about Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker?" He's like, "That's the one F-bomb you get." That's what they got.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. It was punishment. But like, 93. I mean, how many pictures came out that were remarkably more violent than that? I still think Army of Darkness is probably my favorite, even dead. Like a butterfly. My favorite Evil Dead picture, maybe because it was the first one that got me into the franchise.
It was your first love.
Was my
Well, let's look at the films that came out in 1993. Stop licking me.
Famous last words.
Yeah, right. I got a list of movies that came out in 1993, horror movies that came out in 1993. Okay, Return of the Living Dead 3, The Dark Half, Needful Things, Ozone, Ticks, Body Snatchers, Warlock, Bloodstone.
Warlock.
Yeah, right. Bloodstone Subspecies 2, Puppet Master.
Dude.
Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday, Leprechaun, Cannibal the Musical. I mean, if you want to go into violence, Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Don't go horror. Go mainstream and see what's fucking more outrageous than Army of Darkness.
Falling Down.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah, really. That was. I mean, it was violent, but it wasn't gory.
No.
The Sandlot. which you still
That
haven't
was-
seen.
Are you telling me that's gory?
You need a first baseman's mitt slapped against your face for not seeing that yet.
Speaking of which, actually, I don't know if I said this on the show before, but El Goro got me. He sent a Blu-ray of The Sandlot to me, so I actually have it, and I still haven't fucking watched it yet.
And how long ago was that?
It might have been for my birthday or something. I forget.
Wolfie, bring it up. I haven't seen it either.
For your
man.
birthday? You mean as if your birthday last year,
Yeah, I think so.
and you still haven't watched it? What the hell's the matter with you?
I'm looking for it. Nothing's wrong with me.
No, there's plenty wrong with
Oh,
you.
I do have septic. I have septic here, though.
There you go. There you go. See?
That I've seen.
All right. See, Last Action Hero. Great movie. Demolition Man.
Great movie.
Adam's Family Values. Dennis the Menace. Bonnie and Clyde. Son-in-Law. The Good Son.
Son-in-law.
Matinee. No, not Son-in-Law. Jesus. Mr. Nanny. Hot
Oh,
Shots.
man.
Part 2.
But do
Nightmare Before Christmas. Let's see what else.
you just kind of run through all of them that came out that year?
Man's Best Friend. There's a forgotten classic.
Oh, that's
Starring Ali
the dog movie with who was
Ali
Ali Sheedy? Ali Sheedy. Yeah. We rented that. Me and Bob Posnick and I. Wasn't good.
So
there you go.
I mean-
1993. What a year.
yeah, I mean, realistically speaking, I mean, all those movies are rather tame by today's standards, and even rather tame by the following year's standards. I mean, look what you got in '94. You got Reservoir Dogs, or not? Yeah, you got Reservoir Dogs came out in '92, didn't it?
No.
Or '93? Or no, '94. I'm thinking of Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction came out in '95.
Fiction was 90.
Reservoir Dogs was 92.
92. Okay.
Pulp was 94.
Pulp was 94, yeah.
Pulp was 94. Okay. Wow, jumped over 93. So,
Oh, because I 93 sucks. I had short hair, didn't get laid. Fuck that. But I don't think that Army of Darkness should have gotten an R rating. There's no fucking way that movie should have gotten an R rating.
I agree.
It should have been called, like, let's put a movie that's part 3 and not call it its title. Like Medieval Dead would have been brilliant, but I thought it was the most Ash being Ash, and maybe I'm in the minority. Temple of Doom is my favorite indie movie. I know it causes heat with Marion, but I thought he was the most Han Solo in that picture. It was the only one I saw in theaters, to be fair, but I love Army of Darkness, and I love that it begat Ash versus the Evil Dead. So I think to take it back, the Evil Dead franchise, what's truly the worst one maybe is the remake, and that was fine too. We enjoyed that. We saw that together.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot all about the remake. That's how. Yeah.
It's my least
Yep.
favorite, but it's still
Right.
decent for what it is.
Exactly. So if that's the worst, and it wasn't a terrible. It
No.
was a reimagining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you will, and then I feel like Evil Dead, you could go from 2 to Army of Darkness to Ash versus the Evil Dead, and you'd be okay with that version. I don't know. I think Evil Dead might be top to bottom the most near perfect horror franchise.
I won't argue that. I mean, there's other franchises I think that could come close to it.
Sure.
Beat it? I don't know. I mean, because the highs on some other franchises are really, really high, but the lows are really, really low. And I would say that the low for other franchises are lower than the lowest film in the Evil Dead franchise. Which I mean, I didn't even think. When I was thinking of that, I wasn't even thinking of the Evil Dead remake. So I'm going to put the Evil Dead remake below Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
But
But it wasn't like that remake wasn't like Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. It wasn't episode 1. Like I don't think anyone's like, what the fuck? Like
Yeah.
Say I've only seen it theatrically, but I thought we had fun watching. We talked about it for an hour and a half after the film pick.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I think it's on True TV. I don't know if you guys ever saw the promotional material for this, but I think it's on True TV where they have what is it? God. What's the name of that show that has the 4 pranksters playing pranks on each other?
Not Crank Yankers. Yeah.
I watched it for a little.
Jokey joke. Fucking idiots.
Yeah.
What?
Not Crank Yankers. We said that.
No. I forget what it was called.
Impractical Jokers.
Impractical Jokers. That's it. Well, they're having. I guess they're doing something with Evil Dead 2, and Bruce Campbell's on the show. But I think it's on True TV. You might have to look it up on your internet.
Check your TV guide.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Yeah, check your Google machine.
Check your local listings. Go on the info guide on channel 999.
But yeah, he's supposed to be on Impractical Jokers, and they're like recreating the whole Evil Dead 2. Well, at least what they show in the commercial is one of the Impractical Jokers dressed up like Ash, complete with the chainsaw on his hand and the shotgun, and I guess he's like futzing around in the kitchen where he's banging plates against his head and things like that, and throwing himself around all over the place. So, yeah, that's supposed to be on True TV.
Wow, sounds exciting.
How about that?
Let's see. Actually, I wanted to get to this. We had I forgot to check Facebook, and I just checked it, and we got a message from a good friend about 20 minutes ago. The one and only motherfucking D. Rook, back from the dead.
Stop it.
He says, "How are you, amazing gents? Good to see everyone in fine form." And as I said, this is 25 minutes ago. He says, "Dragon Balls MZ, you thought I laughed at Balls of Thy Father until MZ passed the fuck out." Well, D-Rook, it's good to hear from you, man. Hope you're doing all right. I hope you're kicking ass and taking names and doing your thing, man. It's good to hear from you, and I hope everything's good.
Yeah.
Kid's
he mentioned that Rough House Publishing will be at Monster Expo on the weekend of the 28th in Fairhaven, Massachusetts. He won't be there, but his homeboy Steve Van Sampson will be there, and he's going to be taking charge of the place. He's going to be taking names and kicking ass, and so let's all head down there and
that's awesome.
Support our boys. Support our boys at Rough House Publishing.
Yeah, if anyone out there is at Monster Expo, definitely stop by. Say hi to Steven Van Sampson, as Raven Shadow likes to call him. And if you see MZ walking down the halls, give him a wedgie.
Yeah, kick him in the nards.
Or give him a little nipple tweak or something, you know.
Yeah.
Give him a little give him a little how's your father, yeah.
2 taps and a twist.
2 taps and a twist. All right. So let's start to wind things down. How about that?
Hey.
What do we got here? Let me pull up the info about the movie just so I can get that ready for after the break. All right. So, as I mentioned, we're going to be recording a Patreon show this weekend. I may not, just so folks know, I'm not going to be able to upload it until I get back. So I have to do it on my computer. The computer in Raven Shadow Studio could barely handle Skype. There's no way it would be able to handle an audio program, so I can process the audio and all that. So you'll just have to wait for that, and I'll get it up as soon as I can. I'm off on Tuesday, and I should be home most of the day, so I should have some time on Tuesday after I do my fucking taxes on the last possible day. Did you guys do your taxes, by the way?
I don't want to fucking.
Yeah, I know. How much you owe fucking Uncle Sam this year?
$7 brother.
7. Oh, that's better than mine. Mine's gonna be. I'll tell you that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's better.
I'm getting a refund. I always get a refund.
Fucking stupid.
How do you? Yeah, I don't know. It's yeah. They changed the tax bracket, so I guess it depends. I don't know. I haven't got a refund in years.
Yeah.
Now, granted, part of that I was a contractor, so I had to do my own taxes, and you know, you always owe if you do it that way. So, but this isn't fucking the tax talk.
Yeah,
welcome
you know.
to Tax Talk, coming from Massachusetts.
The pay state.
So yeah, this isn't tax talk, but yeah. So we're going to be doing a Patreon show. I believe we're going to do part 2 of what we talked about last month, but let's leave it open. Who knows? When we get together in the studio, might be madness ensues. Who knows? So we'll reserve the right to change it, but we will do a part 2. If not this month, then soon. Corny says, I got to pay back this year again. Yeah, it's fun, isn't it, Corny? Yeah, not fun at all. So Patreon, if you guys want to hear the Patreon exclusive shows, if you want to help support, if you want to do all that craziness, then go ahead and go to patreon.trickortreatradio.com, and you can help support the show, because it costs money to do the live shows with all the streaming software, with all the subscription services, with all the software, the hardware, all that kind of stuff. And speaking of taxes, I think I mentioned this last year, but the amount of money that we got from Patreon, and the amount of money that the show cost, it was like within $5. That's how like perfect, like how much we got through Patreon versus how much the show costs over the course of the year was. So, and that also pays for like half of my internet, because I get the fastest internet we get, so I can stream the show and all that. So if you take all that into account, it was literally within $5 of the amount of money that we got through Patreon, and how much it costs to do the show. So yeah, it definitely helps. And if we get more, it's just going to go back into the show, so we do more stuff with it. So so if you guys want to help support, check that out, patreon.trickortreatradio.com. And the other ways you can support, you can go to trickortreatradio.com. You can what am I doing? You're not logging in because you're already there. You're on the site. Scroll down. You see the Amazon logo. You're going to click on it. I'm telling you right now, that's what you're going to do. You're going to click on it. It brings you to Amazon. It inputs our affiliate link, and then everything you purchase in that session will get attributed to us. It doesn't cost them any extra, though, Michael Ravenshadow.
But it's another way to help keep the lights on.
So you can go ahead, help out that way. The other way is by going to trickortreatradio.com again and clicking on store, and there you can get Greatest Hits Volumes 1 through 3. We've been doing the show for a while. 10 plus years, coming up on 11 in July. Oh, fuck. We're old. So, we don't expect everyone to go back and listen to every single episode. If you want to, please be our guest. We appreciate that. But you don't have to. And if you want to kind of find out what's going on, you can check out the Greatest Hits. It gives you a little sampler of the show over the years, and it's the best way to do it. So give that a look on trickortreatradio.com, click on store, and look at the Greatest Hits. Oh, one other thing I meant to mention earlier, Raven Shadow. Our boy, I was talking to our boy Bill by Force earlier, and he sent me. I guess he did one of those. He does some unboxing videos on his YouTube channel, and he did an AEW unboxing for it. They have like one of those, like, I don't know what they call them, like loot crate
Boxes, yeah,
type
mystery
deals.
box.
Mystery box, yeah. And so he opened up one and was kind of showing it off on there. And then he one of the things that he got was like a Bryan Danielson flag. He's like, "What the fuck am I gonna do with this?" He's like, "Where am I gonna put this flag?" And then he said, he's like, "You know what?" He's like, "Take down that Michael Raven Shadow signed photo. I'm gonna put this up." So he said that on the video. He didn't. I don't think he did it, but
Yeah, don't do that. Keep that up. I listened to the newest episodes of OTC today. They actually changed their logo on the Stitcher. I'm not sure
probably
how
fucked you up, huh?
It didn't. Yeah, no, I mean, I knew who it was, but like, I'm not saying it's bad, but it's a little bit different. But I listened to the
Raven
program.
Shadow is, and change. Those don't necessarily go together.
Wait, what'd you just say?
Raven Shadow and change, those don't necessarily go together.
Oh yeah, no, I think it meant chains, and I'm like, well, a couple times, but no, change.
Change, yeah.
Yeah, change.
You like dollar bills, y'all.
Dollar bills, y'all. So I do. That's what I does. But no, I enjoy the outside the cinema. I like Bill growing his hair out. I like that. I listen every week, bro. I get excited.
Oh yeah, I just saw it. I just saw the I wouldn't have recognized that either. It looks very different.
Yeah, he's having some mix-up problems too, which I think we could all relate to.
Yeah, yes, we can.
But no, yeah. So I'm not saying I don't like it. It's just new.
It's going to take you a little while, huh?
Yeah, a couple of weeks.
Oh, there you go. So, well, check it out. Check out the new logo. Go look for Outside the Cinema, because those guys are awesome.
And they movies that we did. They did the Cat in Bad Milo, which we did several years.
Oh shit!
ago.
Wait, the Cat. That was the one with the fucking fight, right? The fighting cat.
Yeah, the Korean picture.
No, I don't think was it Korean. I think it was. Might have been
It was
Japanese. Yeah, I think it was Asian.
I think it was Asian. It was an Asian.
Oh yeah, that. Yeah. So 2011, the Cat. I think this is the one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Wait, is this the one?
Because we
That
made a joke.
Japanese. I think it was a Japanese film. The Cat.
Yeah, I don't think this is the one. This is from 2011. I don't think this is the one. Fuck.
Well, how many Asian pictures are called The Cat because the original title is too long? It's not Ernest Miller.
Okay, so we did the Cat on episode 72. I just consulted. Let me go ahead and look that one up now. 72. Let's see here. Infinite Cat Horror Show. We had Michael Neal on. We had CDR on.
Shit.
And let's see. Yeah, so it says CDR joins us to review the film The Cat, a crazy as fuck Hong Kong flick from the guy who brought us Story of Ricky.
Oh, Ricky O.
So, yeah, I'm trying to remember. Story of Ricky was directed by. Oh yeah. Nai Choi Lam, I think is how you say his name, or something like that. Anyways, yeah. So he did The Cat from 1992. That's the one from 92. Is that the one that they talked about on the Outside the Cinema?
It didn't sound familiar. They talked about a girl who was a cat groomer that dyed the cat's face, and there was a murder. And they compared it to like Ringu, the Japanese Ringu.
Oh, they're probably talking about the 2011 The Cat then. But this
Right,
is this is an adaptation of the novel Old Cat. A cat from outer space teams up with a young alien girl and her knight, along with an adventure novelist named Wisely, to fight a murderous alien that possesses people. Let's watch this again. Yeah.
Let's watch Sunday.
Let's do
we'll
that
go,
next week.
We'll make a fort.
Make a fort. Like a blanket fort?
Oh, bro, we are gonna make a fort. I got TV trays up the yin frickin' yang. We're gonna make
Uncrustables.
Bro. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, you can make a fort completely made out of Uncrustable boxes.
Aw.
And that's Sam Adams boxes. But no, I have a queen size fucking sleeping bag, bro.
You have any Samuel Abrams?
I got some Sam Abrams. We'll read Kyle Rayner Green Lantern comics. It'll be awesome.
All right. Well, we get off on a little bit of a tangent there because I had to tell you that story about Bill's unboxing. But all right. So that's how you support the show. Raven Shadow, you sit down to watch. Holy shit. What do you do to prepare for this fucking movie, huh?
I was kind of a social butterfly last weekend, John. I gotta be honest. I hung out with some friends from the shop. You know, I mentioned before the Samurai Knights. We saw our buddy Tom C. was in the house. I was hanging with him. We were smoking butts, talking all raw. And then, you know, not really religious, but I enjoyed dinner. So we had Easter dinner over my parents' house, Angela and Al.
I'm sorry, did you say Tom C. or Tom Smythe?
Very good question. So Friday night was Tom C.
Oh, okay. Did he ask
Sunday,
about MZ?
Tom Smythe. Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, he was fucking, his pants were off. It was crazy.
Was he eating lasagna?
Yeah. No, I had to leave the room. I'm like, this is very uncomfortable. That wasn't good. But yeah, so we talked all raw. And then, you know, when I'm thinking about German Scheiße films, I get scared. I'll be honest with you. I get scared. In Germany, they enjoy, what do they call it? Caviar is slang for poop over there. And then I strapped on.
Jesus. All right. Well, there you go.
The following message is a paid advertisement for the Cult of Muscle podcast. The Cult of Muscle. You're either in it or you're dead.
It's the dawning of a new age. The halls of Valhalla have been shuttered. The heroes of yore have either retreated to the shadows or taken to capering for the amusement of the small folk. Their past glories a distant memory. The barbells have been torn from their once puma-strong grips. The beards shorn from their square jaws, only to be transplanted onto flannel-clad, puny weaklings with fingers barely powerful enough to strum a ukulele. The time has come, my brothers, to restore order from the chaos. No longer will our heroes be forgotten. No longer will their great deeds be viewed through a foggy lens of irony. Hear now our rallying cry as we scream it from the mountaintops, as we bellow it from iTunes and Libsyn and Facebook. It's time to join the cult, my brothers. So don your cloaks and enter the Cult of Muscle.
This is Matt Kennedy of Astron 6. You might know me as Manborg. You might know me as Father John Sullivan in Father's Day. But what's important right now is that you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
You go through your week with the same old routine.
What you really want is some blood and thunder in your life.
Well, friend, you found it.
The Cromcast is an adventurous journey through the history of two-fisted pulp stories.
With your hosts, John,
Josh,
and Luke.
We have action,
horror,
and adventure, all through the lens of pulp luminary Robert E. Howard.
Don't just stay in your ordinary life.
Find your pulp life at thecromcast.blogspot.com.
The Cromcast.
The Cromcast.
The Cromcast.
A podcast for the barbarian at heart.
I can tell you I'm never coming back on this show. Especially now that I did that thing that you just made me do. Which I will be sending you an invoice for.
And we have returned on Trick or Treat Radio. And we're going to talk about a movie in just a minute. But I'm going to wait for Raven Shadow because we have our surprise that I mentioned. These guys don't even know anything about it. But anyways, we are going to be talking about the film Holy Shit. Holy Shit. And let me just pull up the info here. The film is written and directed by Lucas Rinker. It is 90 minutes action, comedy, thriller. And it stars Gideon Burkhardt, Frederick Kempter, Michaela Schaefer, Olga von Luckwald, Thomas Nyhaus, and Rodney Charles as Bob. And the synopsis for the film: Architect Frank wakes up from unconsciousness, squashed in a porta potty. But it gets worse. In order not to be blown up during the imminent demolition, Frank must make his way out of his blue grave in 1 hour. A race against time. Come on, Raven Shadow. What the fuck is he, MZ?
What the hell is he doing?
Is he taking a leak in the fucking shower again?
No, he was in frame, and now he disappeared again.
Unbelievable. This guy, man. Unfucking believable, huh? All right. So we're going to talk about this movie. This movie is, oh, look at him. He's doing his whole fucking thing.
Just sit the fuck down, asshole.
Did a fucking crotch job, this fucking guy. So, all right, now Raven Shadow's back. We can do the thing. But this film is streaming exclusively on Screambox. So if you guys recall, we've been talking a lot about Screambox. They have a lot of cool stuff that they've been putting up on there. I feel like they're pretty much almost competing with Shudder now. Like, I don't know if you keep up with what's on Screambox MZ, but like they've had a lot of really good stuff lately, and especially kind of some niche stuff like this, you know?
Yeah, I've been meaning to look into Screambox and maybe, just to do the trial run. I'd like to see what the hell is going on over there, because they're starting to gain momentum. I'm hearing a lot more about Screambox more and more each week.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. And I'd like to check it out. And one of these days I will. It's just that
one of these
so much
days
going on, and I keep forgetting or whatever. But I'm definitely going to check it out.
So so they got some great stuff going on there, and we'll talk about this, and you guys can find out if this is great shit as well. So, Raven Shadow, what are you doing? Get off your phone.
I was just texting Rock something.
You're always texting Rock something. Okay. Well, let's get started here, okay? What do you guys say? You excited?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm excited.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Holy shit with Reverend Scott.
Yeah.
I'm pushing the video live. Go live. Of course, it fucks me up. So there we go. Now we're joined by Reverend Scott.
Hey, who is
Hello,
this guy?
Johnny. Hello, Raven Shadow. Hello.
What's your name?
What's your name?
Yeah, boy.
That other guy.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Hi, MZ. How are you?
All right, Reverend Scott. How are you, my friend?
You know you couldn't go through a holy shit movie without me.
Oh, hey, come on.
That was, of course, the cameras like fucking froze up too, except for me. All like people watching live are like, "What the hell is going on?" But if you're listening to this, it hopefully it'll come across. But yeah, we couldn't do a movie called Holy Shit without Reverend Scott, right?
That's exactly right.
So
it legitimizes the religious aspect of fecal matter.
Yes, there's plenty of that.
Religious, yeah, the religious Fecal matter. Oh.
They must have got my letter.
MZ is truly one of a kind. I'm real quick. I'm gonna cut off Skype and then reconnect because everything froze on this end. So let me just kill that, and then I'll get. You guys will still hear me. I'm talking about the video. I'm killing out of one side of the computer here on one. All right.
Did I look too glorious?
You did, yeah.
Oh my Lord! Like, can we be heard? Because Reverend Scott looks so illuminated right now and so sexy. So
that's not even a background. That's just how it is, man.
Yeah.
He's got an aura about him.
Yeah.
See it.
So okay, there we go. I got everyone back now. We're unfrozen caveman Skype. Yes, so Reverend Scott is joining us, and it's. I'm trying to remember. You joined us once before, live, but it was before we did cameras for everybody, if I recall correctly. But it's been a very long time, and it's awesome. I appreciate you making some time for us, Scott, because it's truly a pleasure and an honor for us to be able to hang out with you, because Scott is is a busy dude, and he's an awesome dude, and it's been so long since we hung out. I miss it.
Well, the pleasure is all mine, because I mean, if I could be in the studio back in the day, or even in some manner right now, I would be. Obviously, as you guys are well aware, that's not always the easiest thing to do. Yeah. Somehow, I think I'm still frozen, though. Look at there.
Oh, you are. Let me. Yeah.
Just me, though.
Oh yeah, look at that.
All right, let me see if I can fix that.
Sometimes frozen equals sexy, though.
Sometimes.
I mean, I could have sworn my mouth was moving.
But
oh no,
again,
it's double MZ now. That's horrible.
This sucks. This is the worst episode ever.
Play back the tape.
Spent the entire message, Wolfie.
Did that work? No, it didn't work. What the fuck?
Can you make both of them go away?
Of course, we have this like whenever we want to do something like different or fun, like it just always fucks up, right? It's just the way it goes.
Oh my
God, this is the most horrifying thing.
Pick the wrong night.
We all did, brother. That's not good. That's one. Oh my God.
Is Ares available still, or?
Yeah, MZ's doing some weird Aeon Flux eye thing going on.
Oh God, yeah.
He's like catching.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah, he's catching a caterpillar in his eyelashes. This is not.
You better watch out. He's gonna get bit by the fucking caterpillar.
Oh my God! What was that thing when people would like hang upside down and they would talk with their reverse chins?
What?
What?
That gimmick. Reverend Scott knows. Lay down.
Somewhat aware. I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless you're talking about what's that thing that where they used to do the cutout where all you could see was the person's mouth moving behind the picture, like the.
God, yeah.
Like Skinner and Paddlefoot, and then like Goonies, like, oh, Micah, give me a kiss. Oh.
Yeah.
It's funny we were putting over OTC earlier, and now Reverend Scott. So that's a funny. What do you call that? Happenstance.
Well, it wasn't too much of a happenstance. It was kind of planned. So
I'm still.
Ah.
Mouth is just terrifying.
This is terrifying. I'm close to like killing XSplit so I can relaunch it because this is horrifying.
Oh God, it's stuck even worse now.
It's stuck. What the fuck is going on?
Oh, wowzers!
This is. I gotta tell
if
you,
you're only listening right now, you feel like you're missing out, and you're not missing out.
Yeah,
not right now.
I'm telling you, even I'm just freaked out a little bit right now.
Watch the live feed for a really shitty Rocky Horror impression.
Yes. Oh wait, Evil Corny in the chat says, so MZ does recognize Reverend Scott? Yeah, no, he only knows that because Skype says it's Reverend Scott.
Yeah, my name's literally on there. I mean,
I saw the cross behind him, and I.
Yeah. That was the dead giveaway. The cross. That's what did it, huh?
It's like, who's the Pope? Oh, that guy. Yeah, good.
Yeah, I almost did a blurry background just to confuse him.
Should have put like a Rocker Shock picture of all the booths. That guy.
I could do like a collage of all the times that we've met before.
Had dinner together, shared drinks, shared bills.
Yeah.
Like, so many times.
And to think before I knew who he was, he filmed a video of myself, Camille Keaton, and Barbara Magnolfi dancing to Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yeah, they just brought that up on OTC, I don't know, about 3 weeks ago, give or take. All my weeks are screwed up.
Oh yeah, that was the anniversary show, because we left that long ass message, and I remember Bill was talking about it because we brought that up, I think, on that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that was the anniversary show for sure. Yeah, I think he tried to take credit for it, but of course I corrected him.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
I even sent him the link. I said, "Here you go. Don't worry, I got you."
Evil Corny says, "Damn it, Wolf! You have this big ass screen and there's too much MZ." And Creepy Girl says, she says TSLs. What does TSLs mean?
Oh, I think I got a pretty good idea what those what that means.
What, teeth sucking lips? Are you
toes?
Toe sucking lips? Yeah. What is it?
Pretty much any pretty much any part of your body that starts with the letter T, I think would be.
Wait, how many body parts begin with T?
Yeah, name them all, MZ.
Toes. Taint.
Taint sucking lips.
Taint sucking lips.
Toes and taint.
I mean, there's thighs.
Thighs. Yeah. All right, we're getting warmer.
Closer.
Titties.
Okay, whoa. Language.
Oh.
That's what language.
Yeah, don't you see my background? You can't talk like that.
Yeah.
So, titties, toes, ties, and taint.
Tongue.
Can you at least hear me okay, even though there's no seeing? Okay.
Yeah, we
well,
hear
that's
you
good.
fine. I'm trying over here. I'm trying to.
I have this big honking microphone blocking half of my picture as it is, so I apologize. You're not getting the full experience right now.
I'm just gonna. So for people watching live, I'm actually just gonna kill the streaming program. So it's probably gonna interrupt the feed. I'll try to get it back. But this is annoying, and I do not want to look at MZ's double lips. It's the worst fucking thing ever. Are we teeth buddies?
Teeth buddies.
Wolfie and Raven dentist.
Oh wait, TSLs could be also Twitter sucking lips too.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I think this week I reviewed a very recent show that was out in 2011 called Suits. I had never watched it before.
It's funny. And I think I want my girlfriend to download that on the platform that we have.
There you go.
For your discussion of that.
Yeah, I was very shocked to see so many. Actually, there's a lot of actors and actresses from other shows that I watch, and then seeing them like 10 plus years ago, and I mean, like, some of them like just haven't aged. I don't know how they accomplished that, but I'm looking into that.
Well, I feel Suits came out at the time when, like, that was USA, right? It was like Characters Welcome.
I think so, yeah. There's been a lot of really good, like, I watched every episode of Psych. I don't know if you remember Franklin and Bash. It had Zach Morris was in it, and the guy from Road Trip. Is that if you can find it? I don't know where you can find it, but it's a good show. It was fun. It had a somewhat short run though.
I was a big fan of Pacific Blue, the bike riding cop show.
Oh God,
with
AC Slater.
With AC Slater.
Yeah, that's the other Saved by the Bell show. No, I didn't watch that one.
I think Shawn Michaels made a cameo as a drug dealer. It was pretty awesome.
That tracks.
But yeah, the glove discussion was fun.
Oh yeah.
But no, I'm a huge mark for the Reverend Scott segment of the program.
I usually link also, like when he releases it on Spotify. I found out you can go on a Spotify, fast forward to my segment, and then hit the link button, and you can click a switch that will create a link to the exact timestamp you're currently at. That way I can link it directly to the part that obviously everyone's going to skip to anyway. Just save them an extra step.
Yeah, might as well save them the time.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm doing a service.
You are, as always. Well, I'm doing a service and getting rid of MC's lips. So we are now back live, and video is working for everybody. So, all right. But yeah, you guys can hear Reverend Scott on Outside the Cinema if you want to check that out. As Raven Shadow said earlier, he couldn't find it because there's new art. So change is weird for Raven Shadow, but he was able to figure it out, right?
Well, I mean, I subscribe to it, downloads. It's just like, oh, that's a little bit different. Oh, it's like Trick or Treat Radio, Talk is Jericho, Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum,
Ooh.
and then OTC, and the business that Goro does. That's fun.
Can you not say Talk Without Rhythm? Because you keep saying, and Goro's podcast.
I just like saying the word El Goro.
All right, well, that's fair.
It just calms me down a little bit.
Well, you know what's going to calm us down is talking about a movie that takes place in a porta potty called Holy Shit. That's what's going to calm us down. And,
Holy shit!
And the only person that we could possibly discuss this film with is now with us, Reverend Scott. And I can't wait I'm actually really excited to talk about this movie. So we went down all the details, talked about the director, did all that. So let's jump in. This Raven Shadow, this movie is right in your fucking wheelhouse. This could be a stage play.
Yeah. it could be. Off Broadway. Yeah. Outhouse Broadway.
Yeah, exactly. Outhouse Broadway. Yeah, so I mean, this movie was kind of not really on my. It was on our radar a little bit, and then MZ, you actually got us to do this because you mentioned Pause last week, which is going to be the upcoming movie from the director Lucas Rinker, and Pause is like a killer polar bear movie, right? Is that what's going on with that one? Yeah. So he's got Pause coming up is his next film. But so I had been looking at this and I was like, yeah, maybe we'll do that. And I didn't have something picked out. And then MZ mentioned that. I was like, all right, we got to fucking do this because, this movie was sort of like, it looked like it was interesting, and it was on Screenbox, so I figured that we should jump on it. So yeah, so we ended up picking this, and I'm really glad that we did, because it's, whether we liked it or not, this is an interesting film, and I think it'll be an interesting film to discuss. And yeah, there are multiple actors in this, but I would say 99% of the film is on one actor's face, or 95% of the film. And it's a really interesting film. And if I had heard the premise, like if I knew exactly what this was prior to watching it, I probably would have had other preconceived notions about this film, and maybe wouldn't have been as interested. I don't know why, because when you when you think about a movie that takes place completely in a porta potty, it doesn't really instill much confidence that it's going to be interesting, right? Like,
especially when it doesn't have Colin Farrell or Ryan Reynolds, or and then it's got subtitles. So I mean, you kind of feel like there's like an uphill battle here. Movie, you got to really win me over.
Yeah, exactly. This is the the porta potty exploitation genre is it's very small. So So I'm actually curious. So Scott, when I had presented this film to you, I recall you saying you hadn't heard of this. What were your did you have any like ideas or preconceived notions about this?
Well, so here's what I did. I did no research. I looked at nothing. I read nothing. I watched nothing because the title is all I needed.
Yeah.
Like I was done. I was already ready to go. And Johnny's like, "Do you got Screambox?" I said, "Johnny, I don't need Screambox. Don't you worry. I have a local AMC theater." Okay? I strolled right into the theater and I said, "I need to watch Holy Shit!" Exclamation point at the end. And of course they didn't seem like they knew what I was talking about. I said, "I need to talk to the CEO of AMC." And so they brought him in. And I said, "I need to watch Holy Shit. Don't you know who I am?" And of course he did. And they showed me Holy Shit at private screening. They just got everybody out of the whole theater. I appreciated it. And I think it was, I'm not going to say it's any different or whatnot than I expected it to be, but I feel like it was better made and better acted than I kind of expected it to be. I'm not sure why, based on the title also.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of I'm on board with that because I see a movie called Holy Shit and see that it takes place like almost entirely in a porta potty, and you think, oh well, they're probably doing that because they didn't have much of a budget, or, or whatever. So you kind of like think of all these different reasons why that happened, and for me, same thing. But I think what we got was kind of a taut thriller that had some humor, and had some good tension and even some decent gore, I would say, and plenty of gross out moments. There's a pretty a few pretty good ones. MZ, since you're the resident porta potty guy on the show here, what was the expectation versus reality on this one?
Well, my expectations met the reality, or the reality met my expectations, I should say. Let me reverse that. Because it, like you said, it sounds like it's going to be a movie without much of a budget, which is probably its biggest selling point. Guys go in, want to invest in a movie. It all takes place in a porta potty, and so not much money has to be dropped into this thing. And they took a chance on this Rinker guy, and it worked out for them. There are gross out moments involved, sure. There was one in particular which I just felt very about. I'm like, oh, geez. It was pretty brutal. It seems rather simplistic and rather, if someone was to discuss it or mention this scene with you, you wouldn't think much of it until you actually watch it. Then it's like, oh God, that's nasty, but this movie might surprise a few people because, like you said, it is a taut thriller. It does have a good amount of suspense. There is some MacGyvering going on in here, and although I will say, I in certain areas, I won't specify which ones, but there are certain areas in this film where I feel like the comedy just doesn't stick. That they're trying for whatever, humorous verbal gag that they're going with. And for some reason, it just doesn't stick the landing for me. But other than that, I mean, there are some jokes in here that are very, very funny. And there's some situations going on which, you got to say to yourself, no pun intended, but holy shit, what the hell's going to happen now? So this will be an interesting discussion.
Yeah, agreed. How about you, Raven Channel? I guess same sort of thing, like expectation versus reality.
So it's hard, right? So even talking about with Marion, like she's like, yeah, we're gonna come over for dinner. She's like,
Go over for dinner and watch. Holy shit!
But that's
wait,
the
did you
thing.
eat dinner while watching this movie?
Oh,
No. She's like, yeah, then I'll probably leave before you watch it. And I'm like, okay, like, well, why though? Because and once again,
Was it the whole film being shot in a porta potty? Is that what did it, or
potentially thoughts of like German Scheisse films, right? Like Scheisse.
yeah, no.
That's
you
not me.
would have
That's not
set her
me.
up for that because you were
I did
saying
not.
that.
I was the advocate. I was like fucking Polly Dangerously. I was the advocate for this movie. I'm like, they're really not gonna poop. They're really not gonna like show that kind of stuff.
I mean, somebody did. Like a lot of people did.
Right.
At some
We
point.
just didn't see it necessarily.
Right. We didn't see it wasn't the prequel. Like it wasn't like how did all that poop get in there? It wasn't like, oh, we opened up for fucking, Lilith Fair the week before. I don't know. I'm just trying to picture.
So wait. Let's get the character motivation. So the prequel, this porta potty was used at Lilith Fair. That's what you're saying. It was like an old beat up porta potty. They cleaned it up and put some nice flowery scents in it and put it out in a field for all the denizens that were watching Lilith Fair. Right? That's what you're saying.
And then they just, oh shit, we get a fucking demolition thing going on Tuesday. Why don't we just take the fucking forklift, pick that motherfucker up, and bring it over to the spot? I don't know. I don't know how I'm not in the porta potty business. I can't speak to that.
You fooled me.
You're not a porta potty connoisseur.
Yeah.
You put the sewer back in connoisseur.
I'm not a porta potty professor. I don't know.
Professor Porta Potty.
I mean, but like, I was trying to think of something more worldwide. Like the Warped Tour is more regional. I don't know.
You literally thought about the prequel of this fucking movie, didn't you?
Yeah. Before this, it was like, oh shit. What was that song?
Yeah, literally. Oh shit, that's the name of the prequel. Oh shit.
Yeah. Oh shit begets holy shit, and it was like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Fuck
this shit.
It was more like just a bunch of construction guys digging a giant hole and using a porta potty, and yeah.
Just use a fucking napkin. So that's weird. So what was the question, Johnny?
Wait, I think the sequel's cut the shit, and then fuck this shit is the final, right?
Fuck this shit would be the finale in the trilogy, right? That's fair to say. I think we can all agree on that.
Where they actually blow up the porta potty. There's no saving it. Jesus Christ.
But that's fun. So no, but what I'm like, nah, we ate. Okay. And then digested.
And then pooped.
Took Ollie out. Everyone did their
Everyone did their business. Yeah, okay. Gotcha.
And then we kind of like, let's just cleanse the palate and see what's going on in Germany right now. And it opens up with like a kind of Jason Statham looking dude who's, pretty tied up, hanging upside down, like the Guns N' Roses song. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, is every which way but loose? You know what I mean? He's stuck in the fucking thing. And he's got fucked up. He's got a fucking head injury. How did he get there? He's not sure. And I like the nice nudity opening it up.
Oh yeah.
I was about to say the real opening was the dollar store Carmen Electra rubbing the lit dynamite.
I can't believe we've gone 20 minutes talking about this movie and you guys haven't brought that up yet.
I feel Reverend Scott though, and I know you're a Reverend, but I think it's a more Germanic Carmen Electra with the fireworks. And that's fun, but it also like it wasn't gratuitous because he's all fucking groggy like a motherfucker, and then sees the porta potty pinup.
The porta potty pinup.
You know what I'm gonna say? Like, what's it called? Chekhov's gun. Yeah, I mean, like, almost everything I can think of pays off in some way or another. Like even something
Yeah.
simple like they like worked in this. I don't know how, like, what came first, the poster or that video of her? Like, I don't know. One of the two came first to put in the movie, and maybe they made a poster out of the video so they could just have a reason to throw it in there. But I mean, they gave it a reason to be there at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good point. And on the poster, I don't know if you guys can see it. Like almost everything, like you said, Chekhov's porta potty, everything inside of it was like utilized at some point. Including parts of the actual porta potty. Like, there's the toilet seat, there's like the pipe that goes up, like literally almost every aspect of it was used. And I mean,
but would you really call that Chekhov's porta potty? Because
it's making a joke.
I mean, it's there legitimately. It's not like it's there for the sake of knowing that it's going to be used at some point in the film. Like in a normal porta potty, it wouldn't be there, but in this particular porta potty, it was there because it was going to be used at some point later in the film.
I will give you one example for sure, and I'll try and keep it somewhat vague, but there's a point where he starts using the measuring tool, the like laser measuring tool, and he makes a drawing of what he feels like his positioning is and whatnot. And I'm like, well, that's kind of cool, like he's using his architectural background to determine where this thing is in the hole and all that jazz. But it's like, but what is that doing for him? And then like there is a payoff for it later. So I mean, there was some cool stuff like that I appreciated.
Yeah,
I loved how he woke up and just seeing like where things were, like what the fuck. And then as he looked around, and then you see the final reveal of where he was. Like, I wasn't sure if he was upside down, if the porta potty was laid down. I wasn't quite sure of the, what do you want to call it? The not the
orientation.
Orientation. Thank you. And when you got the sense that it was on its side in this positioning, and then what stuck him there, the reason why he was in a precarious position, that revelation was like, shit. And I know. All jokes aside, and it wasn't played for jokes. Like, you're like, where the fuck am I? And I've had those nights.
Shit.
Blackout tapes.
Yeah. And I don't leave my house, let alone being there. And you felt like the smells. Everyone's been in a porta. I've been in a fucking Bourbon Street porta potty in fucking Mardi Gras, and burned the shoes. So, yeah, like, not saying I've been in wars, but yo,
you've been through some shit, literally.
I've been literally. And you don't see me wearing those shoes anymore, do you? Just saying.
Yeah, I think that they did a fucking awesome job of making it very visceral. Like, you felt like you were in there. You could almost like smell, feel, I hate to say taste, but like taste everything that was going on in there. And the sound design, and then also with even the close-ups of like when he goes for like the hand sanitizer, which was that actually sanitizer? Not quite sure.
He did some lubing later on, so I guess it's got to be soap.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, apparently he liked the smell a little bit better than the rest.
Yeah. I questioned what bodily fluid that could have been. Oh, you roboting again, Raven Shadow?
This sucks, Reverend Scott.
This is Raven Shadow's fault.
It's not my fault. It's a fucking divine intervention.
I'm doing my best over here.
So that just means I gotta disconnect Raven Shadow and get him right back. But we can continue talking.
What I was going to say is that I rather liked how they took a bad situation and made it worse and kept compounding it. You know, I mean, like just being down in a hole and looking down and seeing there's like a large piece of rebar like coming through a gaping hole in your forearm is, yeah, I mean, that's bad enough. But you're inside a porta potty and it's sideways, and on top of that, it's like everything he tried to do just kept making it more evident that things were worse than he thought they were. He just hadn't found out yet. And I really like that they took. So those other movies I mentioned, when I mentioned the movies themselves, but obviously when I mentioned Colin Farrell, I'm talking about Phone Booth or Ryan Reynolds. What was it? Was it Buried? What was that one?
I didn't see
Buried,
that one.
Yeah.
Buried.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. So those movies. So I would say Phone Booth kind of cheats a little bit more than this, way more than this movie does in showing some things outside of the phone booth. And Buried, I don't think shows anything outside of the coffin that he's in, but they used his cell phone, to give him contact with the outside world. But this has the announcement and party of Horst. What's his name? The
Wolf.
Right.
Yeah. Wolf Horst, I think, was it?
Wolf Horst. Yeah.
Is it Wolf Horst? I thought it was Horst.
The most German name they could think of, apparently. And so I appreciated that you got kind of some exposition in a slightly more creative way. And on top of that, Frank was very emotive, I guess you could say. Like he was, I mean, there was never a time you're watching him that he wasn't interesting to look at.
Yeah.
Even when he takes off his shoes and you notice he's wearing SpongeBob socks with Gary on them, it's just like stuff like that.
What about the underwear?
And the underwear
with the was it like warning tape all over it or something?
Under
like
construction.
Under construction tape.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like they're just sitting there thinking, man, we're gonna be 99.9% of this movie is going to be in the same spot. We got to like throw in some flourishes here and there to kind of keep the interest. And I thought they did a good job of that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I don't feel this movie ever got boring, which that's saying something for a film that completely takes place in a porta potty. I was never bored, and I was in fact, it was the opposite, where I was pretty gripped throughout about what was going to happen. And I think they did a good job of allowing the story to unfold. So he's in here, you don't know why, first of all, and then we get the revelation that they're going to be demolishing the area where the porta potty is. So then all of a sudden now we have a race against time, where he has to try to get free, and then there's some stuff that happens there that gives him a reprieve, and yeah, it's just really interesting the way that it all unfolds. And I mean, for me, if you can make a movie like this in one location, in a like, I don't know, like this, the other ones you mentioned, I haven't seen either Buried or Phone Booth, but if you can make a movie interesting with, I would say like what, like 5x5, like, I don't know how big a porta potty is, but it can't be too much bigger than like 6x6 or something like that. And this one was probably not even that big, but to make an interesting film in such a small space, I think is really impressive. And I believe this is the director. Let me just look. I think I remember it being his first feature film. And if so, I feel like that's super, super impressive. Yeah, he did a few shorts and a TV miniseries, and that's it. So this is his first feature, which for me is damn impressive that he made such a good picture with such limited space, but allowed the movie to unfold at a pace that made sense and kept you guessing about what was happening, what was going on.
I kind of feel like sometimes these limitations kind of lead to better creativity, or maybe spending your money in other places in a better way. But like, I mean, speaking of Ryan Reynolds, I remember hearing some of the talk about the first Deadpool movie, and they had all these grandiose ideas about this, that, and the other that they're going to do. And they're like, this is going to be too expensive. That's going to be too expensive. So they started cutting things down, and they're like, well, instead of all that, we did this. And it's like some of the best stuff in the movie was used as to get a laugh and to make the story more simple. And sometimes doing that stuff is a real benefit to the film. I mean, like, sometimes you overcomplicate things just because you got that extra scratch to pay for it. And it doesn't always help. Usually it doesn't.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it sometimes limitations can really bring out additional creativity, and it's never a bad idea, especially when you're starting out, to maybe put a lot of limitations on yourself to just to make sure you can make a picture that makes sense and all that. And yeah, I think that it's really impressive what he did here. And I'm trying to look to see if there's any other films set in a single location like the ones that you mentioned.
Well, there's a clear, I mean, maybe I was seeing a reference that wasn't there, but I feel like the toilet seat you mentioned with a face on it reminds me of Wilson a la Castaway.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Which would be another similar single person, more or less same location movie. So I have a hard time believing that wasn't intentional.
Yeah, that's probably a good call. Let's see. What's that, Rancho?
That's what my mind first went to, was like, oh, it's like yeah, talking.
I kind of rather like that character. I think that might have been Horst's voice, like with some digitized stuff on it. It's what it seemed like to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
It could have been. That would make sense, actually.
Can we all agree? And maybe I missed some things when we were going back to.
Yeah.
But like, what was his name? Was it Horst? Was it?
Yeah.
He sucks, right?
Yeah, he was perfect.
We all know what politically aligned type kind of cat he represents, right? Even in Germany. Well, I'm not going to go there, but like, this dude was a douche.
Yeah.
And it's just me. Didn't he look like Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah, he did actually. I didn't really think of that.
Like, that was just this, because every time I looked at him, like, I just got this like chill. I'm like, oh, gross.
Yeah,
there he is again.
Yeah, I caught that immediately, and I'm like, holy shit, right?
Holy shit.
And I'm like, oh, that looks exactly like Epstein. And with him, I got a kick out of, while he's stuck in the porta potty, that Horst is out there, on the microphone, talking to his developers, talking to his financiers, talking to the crowd, whoever's out there with him, that he has a real jovial attitude. And you could tell you could tell that a good part of it is for what has happened to what's his name, Frank?
Yeah,
right.
The architect Frank.
Yeah, about what happened to Frank, as opposed to this giant building that he's creating. And he's always talking about how he can't wait to demolish his parents' old place, his father's old place, and he can't wait to see it go. And it's a shame we never really dive into why he wants to see this place go so bad. I mean, he touched upon it a little bit.
Well, yeah,
I think in the film, but nothing really materialized out of it.
I think there's some context in there, because he talks about, like, even like later on with the I don't want to say too much just in case, but when cops are involved, he's like, I got you your job or whatever. He's like, oh, actually your father did. Like I feel like he's trying to get out from underneath the shadow of his father. And part of that is demolish the house, and I feel like also this movie has more depth to it than you think on the surface.
Oh, yes.
Is that April, MZ?
Yep.
Hey,
Yep.
April. By the way, those not watching video, where MZ just put his cat on screen. So, because it must be weird hearing me say, is that April? But yeah, anyways, I feel like there's actually a good amount of depth to this film too, and especially with the sort of plot line of with Mary, with his partner, his girlfriend, and his feelings towards her, and how they change over time. And I feel like even there's more to it than that too, where I mean, this guy, he's all work, right? Like we get the sense that, because there's a scene where Mary's like, oh, when this job finishes, are you going to get some time off? We can go on a vacation. He's like, nope. Like when this job finishes, I'm just going to get a bigger one. And he's all work. And, he wants to try to be the best architect he can be and to impress everyone. And he's ultimately he's doing it for, what does that mean? Nothing, right? Like, sure, he may get more money or something like that, but ultimately the dude's not living a good life. He's tied to his work, and I thought it was just kind of I don't know if it was intentional or not, or if it's something I picked up on, kind of a fun little analogy of like getting the shit dumped on him, by his boss, right?
I think it totally was, brother, because there's a point where he's having the flashbacks of his beautiful, lovely, girlfriend, and he's just like, you hear like the voiceover, and he's just like stomping his feet, like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah.
Like I think I felt you felt that outrage.
Yeah.
Of the guy who's like, yeah, I'm a dummy. I'm doing this, and I like the fact that maybe because he was injured, his brain wasn't operating the way it should be.
Mm-hmm.
But I also felt too that even for a huge chunk of this picture that was in a porta potty and you had a voiceover, I felt there was still a world that was expansive beyond it.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't confined to these, shitty, smelly walls. There was definitely a lot going on outside of it, and I think they did a good job of demonstrating that by, showing some of the things that you see in the porta potty, and hearing the voiceover with Horst, and and all the phone calls he attempts to make, and all that stuff. I think they did a really good job of kind of showing that.
Yeah, I kind of liked how he kind of, you could tell how guilty he was feeling, because he would, kind of envision Mary, and and then kind of Horst comes creeping out from behind her and stuff, and it's like obviously all in his head, but he like can't, even then when like he has like virtually nothing else to live for, he's still getting it ruined by the same man.
Right.
And it's like on top of that, he's got his watch hanging there, so he's got a ticking clock because he knows like this dynamite amount around him is going to explode. And then there's the whole like, then there's that other woman, the not EPA, but something similar to that.
The environmentalist, yeah.
Right. So the whole kind of side arc with that too. I couldn't tell like if Horst's dad was physically there, or if he was just talking out loud his feelings about wanting to impress his father because he never has, or something. I don't know. That's kind of the what I was getting from it. I couldn't tell if he was physically there though.
Yeah.
I pictured. Can I say I pictured the father like kind of like Kirk Douglas is now. That's not a punchline. It's just I feel in the that Hearst was doing a let's just say a
So wait, I just want to understand, like Kirk Douglas is now like dead?
Is Kirk Douglas dead?
Yeah.
You thinking of Michael Douglas?
Kirk Douglas died in a few years ago.
Yeah, he was like 103.
He was.
But that's what I'm like, kind
so
of.
before
being,
he died, just an old. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's
before
all
he
right.
passed. But like a shell of yourself, like you're bringing prop, like you're here, and it was like somehow I pictured the father being his mind is awake, but his body is dead, and this is his d-bag son demolishing the family home, fucking up the owls, you know, whatever the fuck. He's just being a dick, you know.
Yeah.
Which potentially, it'd be awesome if like a young Baron eventually will destroy Mar-a-Lago in detonation, but we'll see. I don't want to get political, but
too late.
Too late. Fuck those blankety blanks. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like the dad was like fucked up, and he's overtaken the family land. Fuck the owls, they have to mate there. And he's putting his political enemies, you know, in porta potty coffins.
Yeah,
but he said the dynamite will be just like rolling thunder, and the bunnies and the birdies will just not even notice.
Right.
That's what he said.
Right.
And I believe him.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, I got the impression too that the dad was kind of a shell of his former self. Like he probably, you know, maybe confined to a wheelchair or something like that. That's the impression I got, but obviously we don't fully know. So, but yeah, I thought if I'm gonna nitpick a little bit, I think some of the dialogue was reaching a little bit too far for a joke. Like there was a lot of references to like shit, right? Like so I feel like it was almost a little bit too try hard at times, but it never took me out of it, and it never made me like roll my eyes or anything like that. But I mean, you have to advance the story along with these voiceovers, like, you know, like they did, and I feel like it worked. You know, there was very few moments when it didn't work for me. So overall, I think that they did a really great job with this. And I think for me, I was really impressed most of all with just how visceral this film felt. Like I had like visceral reactions to things happening. I was like, oh God, what? You know,
like putting out the fire.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Anytime
exactly,
there was like gray water involved, or like when he tried to reach the phone and he brown water. He pulled his hand out and his hand was covered, and then like he's trying to like rub stuff on his nose, and it's just like Jesus. There are certain scenes that you could just. It's like, can I relate to a piece of rebar being through my arm and being stuck in a potentially exploding porta potty? No, but like getting some shit on your hand. I mean, I got two Great Danes, dude. I'm well aware what it's like to clean up some like massive shit. So,
and you have a child.
As disgusting, but as disgusting as the shit is, nothing upon nothing will ever beat the sandwich that was in that briefcase.
What was that?
I don't know, but that thing was fucking disgusting.
Looked like smashed meatballs or something. Like I don't know.
No, it didn't. I don't know what it was. It didn't look like that, but it just did not look right at all. Oh, was that thing vile? Jeez.
Because you could smell this movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Like you could feel the warmness of a porta potty on an August day at a flea market.
Oh yeah, we've all been there.
Or at Lilith Fair.
Or Lilith Fair. A lot of earthy aromas.
What about Lollapalooza?
Oh yeah. Once again, pick your
or Loco Bazooka if we want to do a local Massachusetts.
I've been to Warped Tour. I've been to Ozfest. I've been to New Orleans and Mardi Gras. Yeah. I burned all those shoes. And it's hot and body, and this is not the dirtiest porta potty I've been in. What do you think of that?
I believe it. I mean, yeah, there's some pretty disgusting ones. But I really liked how he was tethered to this porta potty too. Like, it made sense, right? Like, he had no real way of getting out without doing something drastic. And and then when later on in the film, when he attempted, I liked how it made sense for him to try it at that point in time. So, and by the way, just that scene of him lubricating the rebar was fucking hilarious. Was that just as like ridiculous to everyone else as it was to me?
He was making this face. It's like, that's not the face, dude. Don't do that.
Yeah. He was really getting into it. He was really getting into it. I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Right.
But,
don't get me wrong. It was hot, but
it was hot. Yeah, it was ridiculous. That scene was like, I mean, the whole fucking thing was crazy, but that scene was like, it was just absurd, and it was both hilarious and horrifying at the same time. And that's something that I feel is you don't get a lot of that in movies, like where you're like truly disturbed or grossed out in a way that is not completely I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're looking at someone actually pooping, or something like that. I don't want to see that. But, in this, we're seeing his reactions to these disgusting things happening. And it really evokes a very, I just keep using the word visceral reaction, because it's like, like in that scene in Stand By Me, when lard ass, vomits, and everyone else just has that reaction. They can't help it, and everyone just starts vomiting. It's almost like that. You see something so gross, and you can almost imagine what that is like, and it's like, like it just gives you that fucking douche chills.
It comes down to movie magic, and that's what something that Marion was saying was
movie magic.
But it really is. Like, it really
is Hollywood.
It's Hollywood.
It's Hamburg. Hamburg, Germany.
But like, it's not real, and there's AC in the fucking porta. I'm not sure what the OSHA standards are in Germany. I got some suspicions, but like, yeah, but you're just caught up in the moment of the acting, of the set, of the fucking poop. Like, because I hate poop, dude. I'm not a big
Raven Chow doesn't poop.
I don't, well, I'm not a big scat. I'm not Scatman Carruthers.
Jesus Christ. Who is? Besides Scatman Carruthers.
Scatman Carruthers. E.G.
I always appreciated that they made it to where, like, I don't know, you watch some movies and you just keep thinking to yourself, well, why don't they just go out the front door? Why don't they go back through that window they came in? Why don't they do this, that, and the other, And it's like, this one is like, at least they put him in a position where it's like, you just don't want to have to do anything he's got a choice of doing for the most part. I mean, there's a little bit of suspension of disbelief, some things that he tries or does that you're just like, yeah, it's a movie. I'll give him that. He can have that little win this time. But I mean, for the most part, though, I felt like they kept you guessing, or kept his options limited enough to where he had somewhere to go all the time.
Yeah.
As things got more dire.
And that's a great point, Reverend Scott, because nobody wants to really cut their arm off if they don't have to, right? Like,
yeah, he thought about it for like 2 seconds. And he's like, nah.
but they had a first aid kit in there. So he's trying to like, oh, put some fucking ointment on this. I
Right,
guess
right, yeah.
fine. And what would you really do? Like, are we gonna go full blown fucking ash and chainsaw? Like, yeah, fucking cut your arm off. Or other motherfucker, who's the guy that fell down the cave?
Yeah, the 127 hours.
Yeah, Green Goblin too.
Green Goblin, dude.
Yeah, Frank.
Yeah, Evil Corny says I couldn't eat while I watched Holy Shit.
You don't have any fucking lasagna or a fucking,
Chili.
chili.
Yeah, I and the thing is we haven't even really talked too much about like what happens in this movie. I mean, we've sort of broached the subject, but I think this movie is an experience. It's one of those things where I feel like I don't really want people to know too much about it. It's just one of those films where you just got to go in and just watch it. Just let it wash over you, like consume it and and be surprised because like this. Once again, I think if you know going in what it's going to be, you're going to have certain expectations. I still think it'll exceed those expectations, but I feel like they'll still be there, And this film, I think, is pretty exceptional. You know what it reminds me of, and I was trying to think of the name of it, and I just remembered that Russian film we did a couple years ago. Why Don't You Just Die?
Yeah.
This, not that they're similar films, but in the fact that they came out of nowhere to really impress me about what they were able to pull off with that film and how like impactful some of the stuff was. Like, Why Don't You Just Die? I remember there being some fucking crazy shit in that, like some crazy scenes. And this is reminiscent of that for me in terms of a film that completely took me by surprise, and I didn't know what I was getting into, and was just fucking awesome. So I think that there's some similarities with that.
I'll go along with that. Yeah, Why Don't You Just Die had some great scenes of just total skeeveness. The guy who had to stick his tongue down the shower drain in order to grab a hairpin to get him loose from the handcuffs that were on him, that were around the pipe, because he was like kept prisoner. And there's hair and there's other things like and it's like all in his mouth and everything. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I forgot about that scene now. That's so gross.
But the one movie that got into my mind when I was watching this was a film. I don't know if any of you saw it. You might have seen it, Rev. The Golden Glove. No.
How old is this?
It came out around maybe 2018, maybe.
Really?
Yeah, European flick, and it's you can almost taste the sweat percolating off of body parts that is just nasty. You could smell this movie.
I remember that. We almost did that on the show, and I don't remember why we didn't, but I remember you talking about watching it. Yeah.
It's totally disgusting.
Treat.
Yeah.
It is a treat. If you want a gross film, this is it. This is nasty. I liked how the story was paced out. I mean, we already get into the story. When the movie starts, we're already in the porta potty, and everything's already taken place. Now it's just a question of, it's at some point we'll learn how we ended up there, and we learned that through about 2 or 3 different flashbacks about how we ended up there. But I really like the pacing of this film. I liked how, even though it's a 90-minute movie, but the the detonation is supposed to take off in a half an hour. So you got like plenty of time, or an hour. So you got plenty of time to play with of what's going to happen.
Right. Keeps you on your toes.
After that,
Yeah.
it definitely keeps you on your toes, because you got to figure, okay, there's got to be more to this than just the detonation. Because otherwise, I mean, you got an extra half an hour to play with. So it keeps you on your toes. It gets inventive at times. It gets a little silly at times. I think it plays too much to the like a Saturday morning cartoon type of cartoon mentality, where and I'm talking about like the more serious cartoons, say like Mask or G.I. Joe, Transformers. It's a 1 in a billion shot, but we got to take it, and it succeeds. I won't say whether or not it succeeds here, but we approached that numerous times in this movie, where it's like a 1 in a billion shot, but I got to take this chance. So
you're kind of talking about with him, like, throwing the stuff out the porta potty, that scene.
Yeah.
Or even trying to take a shot on like trying to get a rabbit to do his dirty work for him too. I mean, it's like, come on, bro, you gotta really think that's not gonna work. Come on.
So
eat the wires.
So it's kind of goofy in that sense, but I mean the reality is that he's still stuck in a porta john with explosives all over him that's going to go off. But it does keep you on your toes. There is suspense, even though it's kind of it's minor suspense. I mean, you care about this character. You see the movie the entire movie throughout his eyes. So and you're stuck in there with him. So you care about this character, but also at the same time, the goofiness of his trying to escape. Yeah, it I don't want to say it weakens the film. It just sets a different tone to it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, where it could be taken seriously, even though it is a comedy at times. Even though it is a serious situation, there are some goofy situations where that's kind of taken out of it, but it's not really meant to be comedic. It's just meant to, I don't know, maybe prolong the story a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah,
there's some parts of it that I just trying to comprehend.
I think also at the end, I'm not going to talk in detail about it, but when we have sort of like the final showdown, that dragged on for comedic effect.
Yeah.
And like, it never lost me to the point where I was like, oh man, like just, like it's just too much. Like it felt appropriate with the world they created and the story that they were telling, because it's absurd to begin with. But I feel like if they hadn't have gone to that well as many times as they did, it might have had a little bit more dramatic effect. I think that they played it for yucks a little bit at the end, and it might have sapped out a little bit of the dramatic effect of the ending, because it's the kind of the grand finale, right, of between these characters, and it's played a little bit for yucks. And don't get me wrong, it felt completely appropriate for the movie, but I feel like maybe they could have just done like one or two less of those kind of gags at the end,
A little bit.
Yeah. Do you guys agree? Do you feel like it was like a little bit too like kind of silly at the end, or did it work?
Yeah, I mean there was plenty of time for that ending to take place, whether good or bad, it doesn't matter. But there were plenty of times where that ending, where the movie should have ended and could have ended in a realistic fashion, and it didn't. It was basically, prolonging it. And like, look, say like for instance, say like in Austin Powers, where Seth Green's character says like,
MZ's number one draft
we
pick.
could end. Look, we could take care of this. Boom, done. And that could have taken place here, but it doesn't. It just prolongs and prolongs and prolongs. I think they just went to the well once too many times, or twice too many times, for that.
I think I'll say on the flip side of that, though, I appreciated that there's a few times to where like he's confident that I do X, Y, Z, and I'm probably gonna be safe. And
yeah.
So this thing's coming. Okay, cool. I should be good to go. And that falls through. Okay, yeah, but then there's this, and then that falls through, and then there's this, and like stuff keeps, it's like you keep thinking he's got a little bit of hope, and it gets dashed away, and it's like I kind of appreciated that. I kind of get that also, like maybe things get a little goofy here and there, but it kind of toes the line between that. Like I don't think I would have liked it to have taken itself too terribly seriously. It's like, you can't call your movie Holy Shit and open up with boobs and have, all the content it does and take yourself 100% seriously. You got to be goofy here and there. So I kind of appreciate it. Kind of towed that line pretty well. I mean, there's, I guess if I had to have some gripes, while I liked the announcements you were hearing as a way to kind of progress the story, give you an idea of the ticking clock of where that was, and introduce characters and things like that. Some of it felt a little hand-holding. I don't know, does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
Like it's like he's saying some things right now that I feel like it's purely for the benefit of the audience watching the movie, and it doesn't make much sense for him to be telling a group of people that's in front of him. There was a little bit of that, but it's like you kind of got to give it some leeway, so it didn't really take me out of it or bother me that much.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was referencing earlier when I said like some of the dialogue in those scenes seemed like it was a little bit it didn't seem like that's what he would be saying, like, oh, like Frank calls him on the phone and like chances are you're not going to answer the phone with a microphone, like he's like, oh, Frank, oh, like so there's some stuff like that, but yeah, I mean, otherwise that's to me is just a nitpick is it really walks the line between comedy and I guess thriller maybe is the best genre to put it in. But I think it toes that line, and I think it toes it well. But I think sometimes it goes maybe a little bit too far into the absurd. But I also know, like we've talked about this sometimes when films don't do that enough. So I'm okay with one film going a little bit too far over that line because not enough films do that, I feel. And they just kind of like barely toe that line, and it's like they go a little bit into the comedy and the absurd, but it's not enough to kind of make it into like a comedy. So I feel like they embraced it well enough here, and I don't feel that the film suffers at all, but I do feel they could have reeled it in just a little.
Right. Even if the jokes didn't land, I do feel like they were having fun to a degree with it.
What was that, Rain Shadow?
No, I was gonna say like they were you kind of know who the supervillain is, and he probably wouldn't have been like, hey, there's one guy who's not here right now.
right.
And like one thing, if he's dead a couple days later, would you want to put that over? Right. Oh, by the way, this guy has a really hot wife. Like you're kind of like, we get it, and I get it. It's like it's you're trying to put over a stage play with some narration, same way you want to try to like give as much info in a found footage movie. But I think a little bit like, okay, we get it. we get the political type of character you're trying to play.
Yeah.
Like, we get it.
Yeah. And, all this said, and we mentioned this is the first feature-length film, from the director, and to make it so successful with for us very little nitpicks, like I feel like that's super successful, right?
Yeah, and we didn't. I don't know if we even really mentioned the special effects and gore and whatnot.
No,
I think there was a good chunk of practical effects. Some of it literally was chunks. And I don't know necessarily CGI stuff. There was maybe two brief parts that could have been, but for the most part, I feel like it was believable. I kept staring at his hand, trying to decide is this part a fake hand, or is this real or not, and just a fake wound or whatnot. So it was pretty convincing. It's not like he was going to be moving his fingers around much with a wound like that anyway.
Yeah, the prosthetics were really, really good. The kind of blood that they used in this film was really good too. It wasn't like a paled out, opaque type of red. And when after a while the blood would just start to bead up a little bit. Here, the blood that they used, I don't know what concoction they use, caro syrup, red food coloring, blue, green, but the way it looked when it was dried and streaming down his face, on the side of his face, like right here, I took notice of that, and that looked really, really good. I was really blown away, and a simple effect like that, and it looked really, really, really good. The CGI, as the good Reverend mentioned, it is there. There is a couple of scenes. They're not terrible, given the budget or given whoever it was that did this. I've seen better, but I've seen a whole hell of a lot worse. And like the one scene where his forearm is sliding down the rebar, you could, and the blood is just gushing.
There's that.
I appreciated that.
And there's when he gets another kind of arm trauma. That also was
involving Horst.
Yes, that was also CGI, but it was so ridiculous that I actually it was perfect. I was like, all right, I can't complain. That's pretty fucking perfect. But yeah, it's something, all right. I feel like this movie almost came out of nowhere and just kind of just landed in our laps. And it's, I love when a movie can do that and there's not much being talked about with it, and then it just comes out and we watch it and it's like, wow, we're like, holy shit. It's impressive, even if there is a few things here and there that we can nitpick. I still think it's a really impressive flick for sure.
I appreciate they took a character that was, they took an actor that played Frank, somebody that was, could easily keep your attention, easily emote, everything going on. And they took somebody that was not, it's easy to feel sorry for somebody in his position the way he was, but they quickly established that he's made a lot of mistakes, things that he should feel guilty about and stuff, and they give him opportunities to feel guilty about it, try to do something about it best he can from where he is, and give you somebody to root for, even beyond just being stuck in the porta potty.
Yeah,
I thought they did a good job with that, especially with the limited amount of space he had.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because he does come off as a scumbag at times, especially as it relates to his girlfriend and the way he is about work. So, yeah, I agree. I feel like they did a very good job of making him into a sympathetic character despite all that. And once again, that's something that's not really easy to do. We've seen it, where it hasn't been pulled off well. So I think that is something that, I think is really successful with this, to have a kind of scumbag character get some redemption along the way. And by being put into the situation, he really sort of has a, I don't know, I guess like a come to Jesus moment, and realizes, because the Reverend brought it to him.
That's funny.
He has this come to Jesus moment where he's like, you know what, I'm a scumbag. I've been horrible to my partner, and that's why, like, even that scene when he finally talks to her on the phone, it, like he doesn't talk about where he is or what happened to him. The only thing on his mind is to ask her that question he asked her, and I thought that was really telling, that that's the first thing he thought of, as opposed to, hey, I'm in danger. I'm seriously injured. Can you please, have someone come out here, and say where he is or something. But no, he had, a different question to ask her. And I thought that was kind of touching, and but there's part of me that's like, dude, that's not the right place to ask that question.
No. And I thought it was kind of telling about her too, that she, they could have had the typical, like, get on the phone and have her start yelling and being upset and stuff.
Yeah.
But she just immediately, she's just like, where are you? Like, concerned about, because she's starting to realize your car's here and you're not, and something's going on, and she's showing genuine concern. So I thought that was pretty good. Kind of keep her, they had no reason to make her, angry about things and whatnot at that point.
Yeah, I agree. I think they handled that really well. So I want to start to wind this down. I know Reverend Scott is a busy man. He's probably got some lives to save, some babies to bless, or whatever reverends do.
Yeah, typical Thursday night.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, is there anything else you guys want to bring up about this before we head to the verdict? All right. Why don't we do that? We're going to head to the verdict on this, and we'll find out truly what everyone thought about Holy Shit.
Trick or treat, baby.
I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right. Busted in play, because apparently the XSplit thing is fucked again. All right. Well, anyways, so let's do the verdict on this and find out what everyone thought of Holy Shit. Let's start with our esteemed guest, because he is the authority on all things Holy Shit. So we got to find out from him, what is your verdict, Reverend Scott? Is this a trick or is this a treat? And any other final thoughts you have?
Man, this is tough, not giving something a grade.
You know what? You could do the grade if you wanted to.
No, I'm a guest on your show. I gotta follow the rules. I tell you what, going into this as blind as you can for a movie called Holy Shit. I'm kind of glad that I did. I don't know that it would have necessarily taken anything away from it. I think the movie kind of is able to stand on its own porta potty side to, kind of take a strange premise and run with it in a way that stays interesting despite it not changing locations, and to introduce some interesting characters, and to use gore to a limited extent, and still kind of gross you out in other ways pretty often. And it's like, yeah, it kind of toes that line. It goes not quite too goofy, but not quite too serious either. And I kind of liked it stayed in that kind of fun area, and that's part of the reason I think that it kept my attention. And you got a guy that I think was somebody you ended up rooting for by the end, that you it wasn't one of those yeah, I kind of was just dude would just die already. You know, I was like, I never had that feeling, or at least not by the end. So, despite the little nitpicky things that I think we had to say about it, I would say overall it is quite a big treat, a surprising treat, to be honest with you. I think anything named Holy Shit, I mean, you got a lot to live up to.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, it's especially ballsy to make this movie and not contact me and not have me be in it.
I know, right?
So, I mean, I get it, you know, like, you know, being in where is it, probably Germany or somewhere like that. I get it, you know, you can't necessarily come here to get me in the movie, but
they could have flown.
So
you out.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you want to get me on there first class to be in your film, I'll consider it. But I mean, besides that, pretty ballsy, but I think it all paid off in the end. Definitely a treat.
Awesome. All right, MZ, how about you?
Yes, a tale of redemption, really. Where the holy comes from, when you think about it, and we know where the shit comes from. But this is a very well-made film, considering its subject matter and considering that it's 98% stuck in one location. Small cast. The guy who plays Frank, I mean, everyone was good. The guy who plays Frank was really good because, I mean, you really felt for him. You know, yeah, he's a scumbag, but but even he knew early on that what he was doing was wrong. So, I mean, while he was a scumbag for going through with it, it wasn't long after that he was starting to have second thoughts about it. So it's not like he was, you know, that this one thing redeemed, you know, that the fact that he was in this kind of perilous situation is what redeemed him. He had a change of heart, but just the people that he was surrounded with thought otherwise. But he was really, really good. Everyone was really good. The effects were really good. The pacing of this movie was very good. The editing was very good. The story is very good. I felt that the comedy could have landed a little bit better. There's just some areas where I just don't think the comedy stuck the landing. It felt a little weak at times. Also, I mean, yeah, you're talking about a guy who's locked in a porta potty, getting ready to be blown up, and while that is a realistic situation, it could possibly happen. The idea of how he was able to escape, of course, through any possible means of being able to escape, some of the areas were just a little bit too far-fetched for me to take seriously. Another aspect, and we didn't even talk about this, I just thought about it now, where I really kind of wish the cops that arrived were a little bit more serious. I felt like you got the Keystone cops there, and I'm like, oh no.
Can you at least put your hat on, not crooked, bro? Come on.
Yeah. And you always got one guy who's somewhat halfway serious, another guy who's like nervous, not gun shy, but nervous, gun happy.
Yeah.
You know, ready to blow anybody's head off at a moment's notice. So I kind of wish the situation where the cops were treated better. Yeah. Otherwise, it just became just another goofy characters in this situation. But I like this movie. It's got a good story despite all the shit around it. And hey, and you know what? It's also got a pretty kick-ass end credit score as well.
Yeah, the song,
yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. So I mean, it's not perfect, but it did meet my expectations. And kind of like this, how can you go wrong? This is a treat.
All right, Michael Rim Shadow.
So watching this movie last night, I've changed my thought on it after our discussion today. It was on the fence. there are things I really enjoyed about it. As you know, I love it could be a stage play. I do think that there's very few movies when you have a visceral reaction to the set pieces, and this movie did in spades. Like you felt and you smelt and you dealt with all the shit that was fucking going on. You know what I'm saying? But then in a weird way, it kind of, as the story progresses, it's kind of like a henchman gets his comeuppance a little bit. Like that's kind of how things happen. You know, that's what Skeletor would do. That's what Cobra Commander would do. That's what somebody else might do. You know, who's on trial right now. Be one of my friends. But yeah, this movie smelled.
This movie stunk.
The movie stunk. And it felt like it stunk. But I did like it. It kind of had passion and plucky spirit. It kind of went off the rails. I feel it went off the rails a little bit. But overall, while I struggle, I'm not sure who I can turn this on to. But I've not seen
this
a movie.
Isn't a Samurai Night movie for you?
Yeah, it's like, bro, come on over. This is what we're doing. I don't know. But I would say it's a tepid treat because I felt it. I believed it, and then it got weird. But tepid treat.
Just out of curiosity, so what about the discussion do you think kind of swayed you? So it sounds like you were leaning towards a trick maybe previously.
Yeah, and I think, but there's some really good things about it. Like I said, I loved our main character's struggle. I think once we, and I think it was all obvious who the villain was, some of that got a little bit crazy for me, where I liked the more him in the situation, dealing with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some of it, you had to be overly obvious with the voiceover. It kind of reminded me a little bit of a Signal to Noise, a little bit. Friend Jared Lincoln, little short film.
Oh, yeah.
But I think, I just, it made me think of it in a different way. I was very tired to watching it, but I like what everyone involved did a great job. I'm totally down with what they're doing next. In
Pause. That's what they're doing. The killer polar bear.
Oh, that's fun.
Killer bears are hot right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, killer bears. Yeah.
The bears.
The bears. Yeah. So that's still a good thing, right? Tepid treat is still good.
Sure.
It's a poop movie.
It is a poop movie. All right. So for me, let's see. So one thing I actually forgot to mention during the discussion, and what did I do? I just moved. Okay. I screwed up something on the live feed, but it's fine now. So I forgot to mention this during the discussion, but one thing I thought while I was watching it, so if we look at the way that Frank was positioned in the porta potty, if we put the porta potty like normal, straight up and down, right, like it should be, he is upside down, and his head is like resting right next to the toilet seat, right? So he's kind of like bent at the neck, and his body is like, his feet are near the top of the porta potty. One thing that it reminded me of, and I don't know if this is any of the inspiration, or not inspiration, but I don't know if this is taken, if the director had thought about this at all, but it reminds me of the tarot card, the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man, I mean, obviously any tarot card has different meanings, different definitions depending on context, but one of the contexts of this is like having a new perspective or a moment of reflection, because you're hanging upside down. And so I'll just read. I pulled up a quick definition. The hangman can represent a time of waiting or of spiritual transition in your life. This card can also indicate that you need to take a new perspective on a situation. The hangman can also symbolize self-sacrifice or giving up something important for the greater good. So that was sort of the greater good, yeah. That sort of resonated with me in seeing that, and I don't know if the director might have had that in mind, but even if not, it's still, having that perspective of being upside down, I think is something that we all understand, even if it's subconsciously, so I think that's kind of an interesting way of framing this, of how it was set up. So I did dig that, and I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that. But I will say I was kind of blown away by this movie, mostly because I didn't know anything about it, aside from part of it takes place in a porta potty. That's the only thing I knew, and it's called Holy Shit, and that's it. But I was very impressed with how, I guess, mature, and I don't mean that in like a condescending manner, but like mature this film seemed for a first time feature filmmaker. It had a very interesting look at this character's sort of like transition or transformation from, and it's not really, I wouldn't call it a transformation per se, but going from kind of a scumbag to someone who is worthy of redemption. Like he has sort of found a way to, look at his life differently. And for that, I feel like it makes a lot of sense, and I feel like he went through a lot because he probably deserved some of that stuff that he got. If we're sort of like using cosmic karma or something like that for being such a scumbag to his girlfriend and all that, like maybe he had it coming to him, some of the stuff that happened to him. But at the end, he did have a transition. He changed, and he was a different person, and that was displayed by, as we mentioned, with the question that he asked when he talked to his girlfriend and all that. So I really enjoyed this movie, and I feel that it was paced well. And for a movie that takes place, like we said, it's basically, I mean, maybe even more than 98%. It's almost 100% inside a porta potty. And typically what we see when we see the outside world, it's from his perspective from inside the porta potty, looking out a hole or looking out the door or looking out, out the mirror on the door. So really, I think the whole thing essentially takes place inside of the porta potty. And to have a movie like that ends up being this interesting, and we've talked about it for almost 2 hours, longer than the runtime of the movie. I feel like that is a huge win, and I'm super impressed by this. And I think it's a really fucking great movie, and I think people should check it out. Like, don't let the name fool you. It's sure, it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek, silly name, but it is very appropriate. But I could see this movie also not working for some people if they're more into the dramatic aspects of it, the thriller aspects of it, having some of the comedy maybe just fall flat. But for me, yeah, it worked, and my complaints are very minor. I'm really looking forward to seeing what this director does after this. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Pause. Hopefully it's done with the amount of care that was put into this, and hopefully it's not just sort of like cashing in on the whole killer bear thing right now. So yeah, this is a treat for me. So there you go, our discussion of Holy Shit with Reverend Scott.
Did you so you said mature, or did you mean manure?
Yeah. Oh yes, you're right. I misspoke. I meant manure.
That's what I thought.
And so next week, and to kind of continue, we're doing a OTC Part 2. Next week, joining us will be Bill by Force. I actually tried to get him on tonight, but he was unavailable. I was going to try and team
Sure
up.
he was. What? Seriously, what is he doing? Like,
I didn't tell him you were here, so it's not because I told him that you were going to be on.
oh, okay.
So
Well,
at least that's not it. It's probably Raven
still,
Shadow.
no excuse.
But yeah, so Bill will join us for at least a little bit. I don't know if he's going to be on the whole show, but he'll join us for a little bit next week. And the movie we're going to do, this was difficult. There's a few out there, but there's not like some like standout movies that I'm like, oh, we got to do that next week. But we're going to do a movie that apparently is like, the name is misleading. Because it's, I think it's a Thai film, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just look this up real quick. Yeah, it's from Thailand. The original name of the movie was The World of Killing People, but apparently they renamed it in the States Night of the Killer Bears. So, yes. So continuing with that whole Killer Bears thing. We're going to do a film called Night of the Killer Bears, and it drops on VOD on the 18th, so that is going to be Tuesday. So it drops a couple days before we do the show next week. So you guys can check it out on VOD on April 18th. It's called Night of the Killer Bears, and it is a film from Thailand, and it sounds pretty interesting. So I think the name is a little bit misleading, but there you go. So we'll do Night of the Killer Bears next week, and Bill by Force will join us for at least a portion of the show. Well,
He'll definitely show up, because on my segment next week, he'll hear me talk about how I was on your show this week. Which, I couldn't pass up coming, because it was already in the bag. Like, it was on the thing I sent him already. So it's like that was some dedication to throw that onto my segment. And I hadn't even been here yet. So
that's awesome. I can't wait. Well, Reverend Scott, like, this was so much fun. And like, when I saw the movie, I was like, if we're doing this, I gotta reach out to Scott. And and it was just so perfect. And I'm glad that it actually was an enjoyable discussion and an enjoyable film as well, and that you enjoyed it and didn't waste your time on it. So
you joke about how busy I am, and I would say the last few months have been like some of the most like chaotic times I've dealt with in quite a while. And the fact that this week like worked out was great, because on top of the fact that I got to be on here for, I don't recall ever doing an entire portion of your show, with the exception of kind of hounding in on Bill and Chris before.
Yeah.
So getting to do that was pretty special to me too. But and having it work out like just was not always in the books lately. So it was kind of lucky that all panned out.
Yeah, well, I'm glad it did, because it was great hanging out with you, and who knows what the world will bring, and maybe there'll be another convention or something like that that we're all at together. Hopefully that happens, and because it's always a blast to hang out with you and have what are they called?
Some flirtinis.
Flirtinis, thank you, and sports burgers or whatever they were.
Sports stadium burgers. Yeah. I don't know. All that shit's probably gone now, but
it probably is.
At least we have some, at least one movie we can reminisce over that we got to watch that was worth our time.
Yeah, exactly. So, if there's anything, Reverend Scott, that you want to plug or talk about, please feel free.
I mean, I don't know. If you don't know the other stuff I do by now, then you sure shit don't care about it by now, with me telling you. But, I mean, you can go to the end of any OTC episode for the last, oh, boy. It's probably coming up on 15 years.
Yeah.
Pretty soon. Oh. Yeah. Episode, I'm wanting to say like the first audio thing I ever sit in was like to episode 135 or something like that. And the official like holy shit thing started in 142 or so, 141 maybe, and then now we're on episode. This new one I sent in was 791. So, and he's never missed an episode, 52 a year. So do the math on that, and it's a lot. Yeah. So
that's
you
pretty,
can check that out. I'm
crazy.
on Twitter, but no one cares about that anymore. Me included.
Or you can just, put out some skunked beer and some cookies and some sardines, and he'll show up to your house probably.
I'll be there.
Raven Shadow, anything you'd like to say to Reverend Scott before we say goodbye to him?
No, brother, it's so good to hang out with you on the show. You are killer. You are remarkably funny, and I look forward to your segment each and every week on Outside the Cinema, amongst all the stuff. Great stuff going on over there. I miss having dinner at Rock and Shock. I just, you are an amazing human being, and I love you, and you are so funny, and everyone else should know how funny and cool this guy is. So thank you, brother.
Feelings mutual.
Thank you, bro.
How about you, MZ?
Who are you?
Who's this guy again?
I knew it.
Of course. It's great to have Reverend Scott along with us again. And nice to have him stay for as long as he did.
Yeah. Little movie discussion.
He's busy. He's got miracles to perform,
He does.
So
yeah, there's bound to be another movie that fits into my wheelhouse one day, and if you come calling again, we'll figure out a way to make it work, because this is a lot of fun to do, and
awesome.
I appreciate you carving out some time for me to do it.
Absolutely. Well, Scott, thanks so much. It was great having you on. Great to catch up and just shoot the shit with you and talk movies. And we'll try to find an opportunity to do it again down the road. It'd be great to have you on. So thanks again for carving out the time, and stay safe out there in this crazy fucking world, and have fun cleaning up some big dog poop too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and as always, peace and love, guys.
Yes. All right. Take care, Scott.
Later.
All right.
All right.
Ravenshaw, how about that?
That guy's the best.
It's funny.
Until the next guy that comes by, and then he's the best.
I realized I forgot to tell you guys, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna not tell him.
That's great. No,
I think I joked about it last week or something. I was like, oh, we should get Reverend Scott for that, and I was just like kidding. And then I was like, wait, we should get Reverend Scott.
Yeah, what the hell's stopping us?
No, we did a bit about it. It was like, holy shit, like Reverend Scott.
Yeah.
Reverend funny. That's what they do on their show. That's killer. I'm hard, man.
All right. Well, let's wrap things up. We got a couple of voice messages, and then we will bid farewell, because I need to get to bed so I can get some sleep tonight. This is for my 7-hour drive.
Need a long drive, mañana.
MZ, what's the drive for you from where you are to the homeland?
Back into my
to Worcester,
that would be about 3.5 hours.
Oh, Jesus, that's nothing. Fuck. Mine's like 6 hours without traffic, I think.
Yeah, and he has fucking GPS to go the smart way, so you should come down on Sunday.
No, I'm not going to put pressure on him. He's coming. He's going up or coming down, whatever, in a couple of weeks. So.
Yeah, well, we're not going to be there, but that's awesome.
Well, you might.
I might. I'm gonna send him a dick pic.
Well, I don't know. Are you gonna be at Monster Expo?
I might be. Can I stay in your hotel room?
No, you can't stay in my hotel room.
Why not? Why not? Someone else staying with you?
Yeah. Well,
no. To my knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's do voice messages and wrap things up. Actually, before we do, like I kind of already said this, but like, even though like I surprised you guys, like I did, like that was fucking awesome. Like it was awesome just having Scott on. He is really like, we joke because he's such a funny guy and like he does the holy shit with Reverend Scott on OTC, but like he is genuinely one of the nicest fucking dudes ever. Like every time I see him, give him like, big bear hug, and he's just such a nice guy, such a great guy, and it's just awesome to have him on.
He's so tall, so humble, so sexy, and I'm a mark for. I'm a mark. I'm a literal mark. I popped.
Did you see who it was before we connected?
I did come down, and I'm like, oh.
Okay, because I obviously I had to connect up on Skype, and I knew that you guys wouldn't be surprised, like the listeners would have been, but still, pretty cool.
It's been so long. It's been since 2019, if not earlier. Whenever he was up with that murderer's row of Rock and Shock people.
Yeah.
But that everyone was awesome, but there was a certain group that was like, wow, that like.
Yeah, there was just more people than usual, and yeah.
Yeah.
He was there for the Corando one?
He was there for Corando.
The Corando one, yeah.
Probably a couple others, and everyone's Rock and Shock appearance is killer. But there was that particular one year where it was just like a giant. It was the Crisis on Infinite Rock and Shock, where every super team had their various people, and it was.
Yeah. I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, it was awesome. So, all right, cool. Well, let's get to the voice messages so we can wrap things up. But this is. It says it's from Nicotine Cage.
Yes.
Hey guys.
Oh shit!
Stop whatever you're doing right now. Open up your Netflix.
Okay.
And go watch this show called Beef.
Oh yeah, I've read about that.
Dive right into it. Don't even think about it. Just go now. Hey Raven Shadow.
Oh, buddy.
Marble Reds.
Word.
Don't get the hundreds. Get the 300s.
Oh, shit.
Trust me, they got them. You can watch while smoking, right?
Yeah, baby. I'm a grown.
That's it. Speaking of beef.
There's a lot to unpack there. First of all, Marlboro 300s makes me chuckle like a motherfucker. I think Beef has TV's Walking Dead.
It does. Stephen Yeun, yeah.
Stephen Yeun and the other awesome person.
The other awesome person. It's got Ollie Wong. Is that what you mean?
Colette. Antonio. Who's Colette?
Tony Collette?
Tony Collette.
I don't know. Is she in that?
I think so. Because Rachel interviewed them on her thing. That's a thing. Tony Collette.
I don't see her. I mean, I'm not saying she's not. I don't see her listed.
I think she watches it though.
Oh, she's just a fan.
She's just a fan. She's really into it. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I know it's Stephen Yeun.
You know who is? Holy shit! I'm looking through the cast. Ione Skye is in it.
Oh shit! She's beautiful, lovely.
I haven't heard that name I haven't heard that name for some time.
That's a name I haven't heard for a long time. Monzero is literally sleeping right now.
Are you literally sleeping, MZ?
No.
Damn. Yeah, so there you go. Beef. Check it out. Gene Siskel's balding head says so. It's 10 episodes. I have heard good things though. It's not horror, but it's a like comedy, but comedy drama. That's what I'm trying to say. Dramedy. The Andromedy Zone.
Andromedy. Yeah, we'll watch it on Sunday, bro.
We'll watch all 10 episodes?
Yeah.
Then record a commentary while smoking Marlboro 300s?
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Really good.
All right, we got one more. This is from Evil Corny.
Hey guys, I'm gonna give holy shit a treat. I really enjoyed the film. There's a lot of suspense. That's my first time seeing anything by that director, so I'll have to track that Polar Bear film down at some point. But like I said, I really enjoyed the film. The only thing I didn't care for is the last couple of minutes. It just felt like it just ran on a little too much. But like I said, I'm giving it a treat. I've been having a lot of stuff going on, and I've been catching the show, but I forgot to leave a message last week for Smoking Causes Coughing. I'm giving that film a treat also. Like I said in the chat, that story with that wood chipper might be the funniest thing I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's one of the grossest things to think about, what was happening in that bucket. But like I said, I'm giving that film a treat also. Yeah, but you all have a good one. Evil Corny out.
That bucket skeeved me out.
Oh my god! I even just him mentioning that fucking short story makes me fucking like die laughing. I don't remember laughing that hard watching a movie in a while, and it was so uncomfortable to watch that wood chipper fucking scene. She's trying to reverse it.
I think it was almost more uncomfortable was that it wasn't played for horror. That was even like I don't know.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't a horror. It was like a comedy. Like, oh man, that fucking thing was hilarious. Shit. All right, so that's it for. Let me just double check. Sometimes we do get voicemails late, so let me just see. I think that is it, though. Yeah. Oh, I just got my bank statement. I don't think that's a voice message. Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to hear that. I might cry.
Yeah.
But that's it. So I think we should say goodbye because that's what we do. The show's over. We say goodbye, right? MZ's gonna fall. He's gonna turn to a pumpkin. He's gonna fall asleep.
Shit.
All right.
Ready.
All right. Well, let's say goodbye. So let's start with MZ.
Arrivederci, douchebags.
Raven Shadow.
This was so much fun, wasn't it?
It was.
I love Reverend Scott. Live fast, love hard, survive with your mask on.
All right. Well, that is gonna do it. Get the music going here. All right. So, yeah. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in, hanging out. It was awesome having Reverend Scott on. Fucking blast talking about a movie with that dude. First time we've done that on the show, and I loved it. And there's no one else we could have done a movie called Holy Shit with other than Reverend Scott. So it worked out perfect. And next week, as I mentioned, we'll have Bill by Force joining us from Outside the Cinema, continuing the sequel, but it won't be Cut the Shit. But we're gonna do the film Night of the Killer Bears, and it comes out on Tuesday, April 18th. If you guys want to check it out, it's on VOD, or will be on VOD, and then come back, let us know what you think. Podcast at trickortreatradio.com. Leave a voice message, leave your thoughts on the film, or about anything. Let us know what's going on in your life. Let us know what you're digging. And then we're going to record a Patreon this weekend. I'm going to see Raven Shadow this weekend, and we'll probably have some stories next week. So that's going to do it. We will see you guys next week.